spent the entire not to throw out turns, so we didn't throw a lot of them. And still, she just came out. It was just
let it go?
Yeah, straight handle and just go like that.
You know, it's not hard to just turn your handle. To just
Yeah. And then it'd be like, line's tight. We're going the other way.
Yeller.
Yeah. And yet somehow we went all the way to the finals of the national mixed championship.
That's your greatest accomplishment.
That it is.
And like, I know we shouldn't have because it would have like way down low.
He's gone.
Right upstairs.
Throw 5-6.
Okay. Yep. That's what I heard. So my 7-8 then. Okay.
The only thing I think 5-6 are matched with the girl a lot more.
Right. That's what we heard. Okay. I know, I realize.
But I don't know if it's cold. I just don't have any toe warmers, so.
All right. Same as it's been. What's that?
You always use deluxes?
Oh, the shoes? No, they're brand. In fact, this is the second tournament I've thrown.
A little slow?
Actually, this is the first Cashville. Yeah. Is that what these shoes are called, Alexis? Oh, Deluxes. Yeah, I thought you said Alexis. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, Colin was asking me. He said, you haven't always thrown with Deluxes. I'm like, I should have said, yeah, these are like 10 years old.
Okay, no problem.
So, we're not drawing for hammer.
I mean, according to your rules, in the finals.
Did you hear Hunter? He won up after our game. He's like, he didn't realize that was the last end.
Yeah. But you didn't realize it was the last shot.
Or, what's that?
Was it the end or the shot?
Well, he said the last end. He thought we were playing.
15:33.
When you were
That's good. Should we throw up there?
I've done it too.
Yeah, I know. I've lost track of hammer in the end. Forgot which team was.
So just to confirm, I don't need them.
Right.
This is good.
Right.
Finals,
I tried to throw it there dead. Yep, I did. What's that? Yeah. Good for them. We'd be a pretty good women's team. We'd be a pretty good women's team. We'd be a pretty good women's team. I'm going to stay with pretty good.
You need to just keep your thoughts to yourself. That's what you
It's like Collinstra out of the 4.
Good curling, guys. Good curling. Right? Richie? Game.
Game, Tommy.
Great.
Game.
Good game.
Curling.
Guys,
All right.
no injuries. No one gets hurt.
How's it going?
We almost made it.
So I'll throw
Can you hear me okay?
to the corner
All right.
or to the side even. I said I'll just throw an intern. So then, I think we go
Throw
back
an
corner.
intern.
See what he does. He's never
Awesome.
throwing 2 guards, so just wait for a while. That's how he likes to play. Most of the time. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yep.
Are you going to introduce
now I can't
us?
hear anything.
Or
Yeah, whatever you do, I can't. It just totally shut.
yeah,
Yep.
let's go. All those fans are.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going.
It is. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Nope.
Good
Okay,
throw.
yeah, I think mine got cut
Boy,
somehow.
Croy.
Can't hear anybody.
Whatever you what you press.
14, I thought it was going to be good. 13-9-7.
Can they hear us? Even though we can't hear each other?
Oh, can't. Oh, yeah, okay, you can't hear either of us. You can't hear either of us. So whatever you hit, just.
Well, if anybody out there can hear us, we're at the St. Paul Curling Club for the finals of the 2019 Let's Cure Lupus
He can't hear you.
Cash Spiel.
You can't hear you.
I turned yours off.
And the fans can't hear us either?
Yeah.
Because
That's the definition of a technical.
Is this
difficulty
plugged in?
right there? Yes.
try to find the women's team.
Yeah, where's the? I think that's just the men's. That's what we need. The women's one.
Well, this is all men's team. Where are the?
Yeah, if you got a print out of that for the women's draw, that's the one
Yeah.
that we need.
Poor organization.
Like normal.
That was quite an adjustment. What'd you get a split time? Okay. That's what a 75 feels like. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, Andrew's not wearing a jacket.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, gotta go. Hard for a piece, Troy. Okay. Just enough. Yeah, I don't know. Just carved.
You know, as do I.
I didn't think you were bad. I didn't yell right away. It just moved good. Yeah. I mean, I got a 9.8, but it's still fine. 9.78.
14? Okay.
Line's got room. You got room.
Do you need me to speak?
Can you be back here?
It's fine. Don't kill yourself, guys. It's good. Don't sweep. It's cool. Cool, cool, cool. Just leave it.
Okay. Good.
It's like the hit and sit right here. Just control.
Now we're on. Are we live?
Did you hear me? I was like, it's cool.
We're
cool,
finally
cool,
live.
Cool, cool. Just don't. It's cool, cool. Just leave it.
Well, I still
hear
can't
me?
hear.
We can't hear each other.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll do a quick introduction.
You just
Hi,
Yeah.
everybody.
You just
Welcome to the
go.
finals
Gotta
of
go.
the
All the way,
2019
Troy.
Let's Cure Lupus
Nah.
St.
Nice
Paul
read. Okay.
Cash Spiel. We're
Good
just
shot.
getting started on the men's side. I'm Scott Belvich.
And I'm Luke Violet.
And Luke Violet
one.
is with us. Luke, nice to see you again.
Great to see ya.
Luke, you were playing in the Spiel.
Yep.
How did you guys do?
I did all right. Lost
shot.
tiebreaker number 2 a little bit before midnight last night. Had our ups and downs throughout the
Good
weekend,
game.
but ended on a pretty good note the last couple
curling.
games. So
Alright.
pretty happy to
Good
take that
curling.
away.
Keep saying good game.
All right, well, good to be calling a
It's
game
not
with you.
over
I've never
yet.
done
Whoa.
a game with you
Whoa.
before. I've
Yep.
done a few of these.
Yep.
The women's side, as you can see, is
Hard.
just getting ready to get started.
Okay.
Hard.
Things are running a little bit late,
Yep, hard.
including our audio.
Hard. Sorry.
Oh, we have
Whoa,
skips
whoa, whoa,
now.
okay.
We can hear the skips.
Sorry, Greg.
We have a little fun.
We're pretty good.
Ooh.
So, Luke, why don't you set up this first
Yeah,
end on
new
the men's
side
side
here.
here real quick?
Yep. So on the men's side, it's been a relatively
I'm
conservative
in control, but let's get about a
obviously, we
foot of
got the
room.
one center guard up, but they've
Not
just
quite
kind
that
of been
much,
trading
sorry.
hits around it. Obviously, trying to
Alright.
roll underneath and get some protection here.
Back away too.
I think the cameras hopefully are pointed to the proper end by the technical guys. It is. Wow, amazing. That's the first time maybe all weekend.
Well, little full.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Yep.
There's a little truth in every joke.
Yep.
You
Yep.
guys have done a fabulous job of
Whoa.
supplying
Yep,
folks
yep.
the opportunity to watch the Cash Spiel here in St. Paul, the Let's Cure Lupus Cash Spiel.
Scott,
Real
can
nice shot
can
there.
I tell you a joke?
Just one.
Fire away.
I like your
Thank
shirt.
you.
Yeah. Funny, very funny. I'm gonna be a little bit of a color commentary. We're gonna let Luke do a lot of analysis, as he's been playing at a much higher level
Yep.
than my recreational game over
Whoa,
the past
whoa,
20
whoa,
years.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, something like that. Well, obviously trying to carve
Go
this
hard.
one in here.
Hard under, hard.
Want to try and sneak
Okay.
under the guard here,
Good.
but it's just going to stick to that edge-to-edge spot.
Yeah, make sure you get around that guard, right?
Yep, don't want to wreck.
Don't want to wreck. That's the main thing. It was a nice shot by Andrews to pair there. And we're going to look
That was pretty good.
for this basically the same shot, I would
left.
think, out of Richard Honan.
Yep, exactly. Especially since these guys
Yep.
have the hammer, they don't want to roll all the way underneath. They just
Yep,
want to
gotta
roll
go.
to a spot that's tough for the other
Gotta
guys to
go,
roll underneath,
Colin.
right? So if they can keep it at that edge-to-edge spot or roll really wide, that's what they're
Gotta
looking
go.
for.
Oh, and you're absolutely right.
Nice
And
sweep.
Great sweep by Colin there to get by the guard.
Oh, did he roll out?
And
there?
yep, not quite enough to stick in the paint, but obviously the wreck there
Just
would've been
didn't
a bit
push
of
it
a
out to
disaster.
it.
Yeah.
Nice sweep, bud.
Hunter's
But
actually
this
under
is going to
curl
give
here, so
Todd a chance to come
maybe
around.
about the same broom. Yeah.
But, it's going to definitely
Just
change the
didn't
tide
push
of the
it
end
out
a little
to
bit and give a chance to put some pressure on and maybe generate a steal.
And I think this is what Todd does best,
Straight
right?
up the broom rather
Yep.
than kind of
Fine drawer of the rock.
Yours
If
didn't
he can
quite
stay up
finish
in the top
great.
4 foot, he's
So
going
I'm
to be in
taking the
great
same broom as
position
you.
to possibly make a steal.
Exactly. And now, obviously, we are getting to the end of the event, so it is a tendency to see
What do
the
we
ice
think for
straighten
speed?
up a little bit. Then you could just hear
Okay.
Todd saying that there's
reckon might
one
not
from
have been
earlier
that
in the end
bad.
wasn't quite
He hit it
finishing,
out all the
so
way.
he's kind of cutting down on the ice a little bit.
Because these back here ain't doing much.
Still
with it.
holding a good 5 feet, though.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is Wonderful curl.
Oh, yeah. Great curl for sure. It's, you
Whoa,
see it a
whoa,
little
whoa,
bit
whoa.
more in the hits. The draws are still, especially they have a really late break point, and you can really carve them in late. Actually, there's been a few where you
One
can come around the
rotation
center
so far.
guard, a tight center guard, and then be 2 rocks out the other side.
Watch
Oh,
this thing
sure.
go.
Nope.
And we'll see this out of this
Whoa,
first
easy.
rock by Todd. That went by the guard that's not very high above the house by about 1.5 feet. It's still completely buried.
Yep. And he did slip a little bit deep here.
Well,
Greg will definitely have an opportunity to at least tap it back, if
yep,
not
we
chase
just
it
did
with
it.
hacker board weight.
I rolled
and get all the
inside
way
and I
out.
couldn't even see the
I
whole
was just
thing.
going to ask you, what's going to
So-
be his weight here?
Well, it depends on how much you can see. I'm not directly
think just
behind the line here, so I'm not
tap.
positive.
No, I think
but
board.
looks like
I think
they're
you make it with board.
settling on board.
Weight curls?
Like I was saying, it does curl quite a bit, so they could be. You could throw quite a bit of weight around a guard and
11
still
and a half, 12's the air side, right?
stick around.
Right. And they're calling for an 11.5 or 12-second hog-to-hog hit,
What's that?
which should be right around hack, right?
Board.
Board, a little more than that. And the Gales have gotten started as well on sheet 5 here. We have the Susan Dutt. No, I'm sorry.
It's
we don't have
Ryhme,
Susan
Ryhme versus
Dutt. You handed
Farrrell.
me the wrong.
Oh, I handed you all the women.
Handed me all the women.
Yeah, on a
Wow.
platter. No, on a piece of paper.
Cora
Well-
Farrell, her squad from Chaska,
Close.
Minnesota.
Colin, close.
Wow.
Oh, no, Croy, you're right.
amazing.
Croy,
Do they have a curling club out there?
go, Croy.
They just started one, I heard.
Go. You got it.
And
Come on.
they are playing against the
Good shot.
Oh, another great
Kim
sweep
Kim Ryhme
Maybe
team.
just a little more, right?
by Team Ruinen to make sure they get contact with that rock, but they do slip out, so
Right.
roll out of the ring. So it's going to give Todd another chance to bury one here.
Good throw.
I was bragging on Runin's, sweeping team.
All right.
Huffman and
Take
everything,
more
and Bill
broom.
Stapera was
There's
like,
probably a few more
everybody
sweeps
can
on that
sweep
path,
hard.
Yeah,
It's not
top
like
four.
they're special. And I was like, do you see
They're
how
good.
he bails
65,
out
so-
Richie on these rocks?
Oh,
he
yeah.
drags them for like 25 feet.
Now those guys are a
When Croy
terrific
started
sweeping
going on, I
team.
thought we were gonna stick over here.
Colin's a beast by all means for sure, and it's always great to watch them sweep. And they're definitely a team that's really innovated their game around just the fact that they're such a good
Easy,
sweeping team,
easy.
and definitely
More
shows
room.
a little bit in the way they play. And like you said, those guys could completely take control of Greg's shots.
Sit down.
Todd's calling for this rock to sit down. He's got a little too much weight on it. It's going to definitely slide into the back 8, maybe even through the house.
Wow, sorry guys.
Yeah, Rich is going to sweep
well.
that one right through. That path probably
Yep.
sped up just a
Exactly,
little bit, huh?
and so that's going to leave a very straightforward throw through the rings here for Greg. Obviously, in the first end especially, you'd love to, well, at the end of the day, you probably would have made a shot to blank out anyways. You
Let's
still
throw
want
the
to put that
solid
little bit
board.
of pressure on the other skip.
Solid board with this turn. See what it does.
Now, of course, they're not just going to throw it away here. They're going to test the spot in the sheet, and so they want to see how much this inside-out spot is moving towards the wall. So they're going to throw solid board, a weight that they know
I
will
thought about
get
that
through the
after
rings
the
for sure, but will also give them a
Yeah.
lot of room to curl and really see exactly how much that spot's
Yeah,
moving.
right. Unless they roll out, then we peel. Yeah,
You
you're
wouldn't
right,
try to
you're right.
peel that
We
rock,
threw a-
I
if we threw a
suppose,
corner
just to
there, that
see
would've
how
been
that
another
spot's
play.
going.
I agree.
and
Nope,
agree.
don't want to
peel
do that
shot.
one.
I agree. Because there's only one guard up there, the way it's curling. I thought about that halfway. I swear, as soon as I was having Croy throw a second one.
All
I
right,
agree,
Luke, why don't you
'cause
set up
our
this
whole
first
thing
end
is
on the
only
women's
one
side
guard.
here?
Well, the men's side was fairly simple, and the women's side's even simpler. They're just been trading hits all in. No
High
whiffs that
five.
I've seen. Just been sticking them all in the rings, which is good to see. But they're just trading hits until keeping things simple, and you'll see a blank out here in a few shots. if
Yeah,
things go
typically
according to
you
plan.
see a lot of first ends in these
Close.
types of games. More of a hit end. Everybody loosen up a little bit, settle into the game.
Yes!
Uh,
Yeah, break to it.
and they are doing exactly that, trading those hits. She sticks around a little bit. Leah with a nice shot.
What was
Yep,
that?
and then this one will
Yeah,
make it a little bit
it's
harder for Team Ryhme to stick around here, having it be all the way out in the top edge of the rings.
Same shot.
What do you think about this inside-out hit versus coming from the outside in?
Well, generally teams like to throw outside in on the hits. It's usually a little more predictable, a little straighter, but they're throwing inside out on this one just because you have to completely cross the nose of the rock and roll inside coming outside in, whereas here you can keep it on the high side and still roll in since it's only half on the rings.
Close.
So a little more margin for error here, but it is a spot, and they're not going to know as well, and as you can see, it's really taken off on them here.
Yep, hard.
Yeah, that is. I
Yep,
think
hard,
she's still
hard.
going to make the
Roll
shot,
on, roll
though.
on.
Yep, I think so.
Bite
Great
the
switch.
rings. Nice shot.
So now Team Farrrell is going to have the same problem here, but they're going to take
Your
the
first
other
one, I
approach
actually
and
think I
still
got
go
like
with
an
what they know on the
8-7
outside in.
That one I got like a 9-0. That's fine, which is fine.
If
because
you were
it's-
planning on
sorry.
peeling that rock
curled.
out, didn't want to stay in the house, probably play that outside in,
Yeah,
right?
it's fine.
Absolutely. You can get away with just about nosing it there. A little bit more, a lot more margin for error peeling that outside in.
On the men's side here,
yes!
the lead for Team
Yes!
Rahonen,
Gotta go, Becca!
which is Croy playing
Croy's
playing
playing
lead. I think he got his a little long into the house, and they're going
Alright.
to get into a hit game here as well in the second end.
Yep.
We might be done in an hour and a half today.
Not quite. I'm actually going to anticipate
So
a
the
delayed
top
corner
house.
tactic here coming out of the men's game. So we're going to see Tom here just try to hit and stick somewhere on the wing. Doesn't want to roll to center. And then Croy's going to try to hit and roll back to the center. But if he doesn't quite get there, then Todd's just going to throw up a corner guard. Or other way around, sorry.
Okay, I get
Rich
your
is just going
drawer.
to try and throw up a corner guard here and generate a little
Shall
bit
we
of safe
drawer?
offense.
Top 4.
Oh, that really
But
moved on him.
that changes
I
things
like
for
your
sure.
drawer
That
to the
really
center.
moved on him. They didn't start sweeping that till about halfway or 3/4 of the way down the sheet.
Like a
it looked
90?
like.
Is it that fast? No,
It
an
moved
80.
pretty hard, about 3/4 of the way there. They were a little bit late on it, and with the hammer, Rich is coming right under that guard, which isn't really a guard, obviously. being in the
Slow it
house, but
down. That's hot. I think it's all there. I tried to pull it back.
You don't want to split
Whoa,
the house
whoa,
here.
Katie,
Well,
I
my
think
guess
it's all
is he's
there.
actually
No,
throwing
no,
up
no.
a corner guard on it.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
versus coming
Nope.
under it.
Yeah, just coming under it, Team Burr is going to have an entire end to make a double, which is
Right,
just
right.
about a 95% chance that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they're just going to throw up a corner guard, and Team Burr cannot peel this corner guard, so they're going to have to think a little bit on where they're going to put their stones here for the next couple shots.
We don't have the visuals
Double
on
tap it. Yeah, I
6
know.
far
Should've done
or
that.
6. We don't have.
Sorry.
You can't.
I
The
slid
viewers
out
at
and I was
home
like,
can't
"Nah,
see
it's
that
not
yet.
hot."
We're doing just a little adjustment. We want to get both houses in the screen. We'll be back. We'll be back there soon, though. We want to switch to 5 near.
Tough to throw a guard there early on in the end when you don't really know what's happening from the inside
is
out, and
good.
he's left that shot rock open a bit, and Todd's going to call for the hit and roll over.
Room. Yeah. Stay close.
Yep.
Might have been better off splitting the house.
Starting to move.
Not necessarily here. This is actually this is a shot that the 5 rock rules changed
Yeah,
a lot.
13-6.
It used to be just fine if you got tight here and clipped the guard, but obviously it is still free guard zone in play, so if he does get tight and clip the guard,
I think here
then
with
it goes
normal-
right back and you can actually, he gets a piece of the guard, but it looks like it's going
You're in my
to
way.
stay around.
gonna
A
stay
little bit of a
around.
stroke of luck there for
13-5.
Hunter Clausen. They're just Team Ruin's just going to put that guard right back up.
You might have noticed the ice here in St. Paul kind of has like a
normal.
bevel. It edges up on the sides.
It's like the hole around a golf cup. If you walk around it enough, it becomes like a volcano.
I could touch more.
That one putt that
Yeah.
you really need to drop in the cup just falls
you
away
hero.
if it's at the right weight.
Well, meanwhile, back on the women's side here, I think there was a rollout by Team Ryhme. So Katie Flannery is able to test the waters on an inside-out draw. Kind of a free shot there as long as she's not light. Just gets a chance to figure out draw weight on a spot they don't know, and she made it well. So now Team Ryhme's just hitting and sticking there.
Very nice hit. I'm not sure if that's,
You like A5?
was that
That's good. 9-1.
one of the
9-5.
Ryhme sisters there, or who threw that rock? Are they up to thirds
Drink
there?
some
They are. Or is
This is Skip's Rocks?
Skip's Rocks. Kim's
Yes, it
out.
has
That was a
more
very
eyes.
nice slide. She was down the line. We're sitting
And
right behind
I
sheet
remember
5. You
Chrissy.
can really see
I know she was freaking out.
the line of delivery there.
Drink
really well.
agua. Yes. 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 They really want. I gotta go.
Yep, so trying to get this blank out here.
Oh, they
Hard
hard,
roll, and
hard.
it doesn't quite sneak
okay.
out there.
could have used a little more weight.
I
Yep.
like that force.
So it is going to be a force
gonna
and a
do you
first down
again.
for Team Ryhme. So
Okay,
not
7.
necessarily the way they
Not
wanted
bad.
to do it, but it is the result that they were looking for.
Sometimes you get rid of that hammer too when you don't intend to, and you start playing a lot
8
more
foot.
aggressive game without the hammer, trying to steal, and good things can happen.
It's very true. It happens quite often, right? Sometimes you just don't quite get going with the hammer. You get on that steel train, as I like to call it, and you get
Ooh, a
just
little
a good
tight. Greg
flow of
always.
aggression going, and you can really put a lot of pressure on your opponents that
Right.
way for a few ends in a row. That's actually in our first
gonna
tiebreaker
curl
game.
big
We
time.
never had the hammer.
Oh,
No.
It was only a 6-end game, but blanked the first, stole one in second, stole one in the third, stole one in the fourth, and stole 2 in the fifth.
That's good. No, that's good. That's good. We don't have to be deep. Okay, good shot.
now they're splitting the house a little bit up here on the men's side after they got the guard up. I didn't see what
I didn't
happened
want him to be able to
and
make the hit
why they
roll and be
didn't
shot. That's why I wanted that in
remove that guard unless they had a
You like
flash or
this one?
something there. But
Well, it looks like to me that that
Okay.
rack in the house under the corner guard's a little farther over, so my guess is that they attempted a board waiter at it and just chiseled it.
yeah.
So now it looks like it's they have enough to chase it from the outside.
Hey,
Whoa,
I have
whoa,
a question for you,
Yes.
Christopher. Do you know what chiseled means?
Gotta go, Hunter.
Yeah, actually, I look in the mirror every morning and I see chiseled.
Very, very good answer, sir.
Good.
Luke, being a very competitive
right here.
curler,
I didn't think about it either, but
just so you know, like when we're doing these games, we tend to
gave-
get
yeah,
off
that should be
course
plenty.
a little bit.
We don't
I'm
want to
aware.
we,
overcurl, right?
we need to
Or, well, maybe we
refocus a
do.
little bit on the curling
Rather show them a little
much
bit of
as
the outside.
our sorted commentary. So keep us on track, young man.
Or not.
Yeah. I know.
We'll
and
see where it
things
goes.
I've
break.
got some questions for Luke.
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah.
So
I'd
you were
rather show 'em a
talking
little on the
earlier about
outside,
how
right?
the fires of
Is that
aggression.
enough? I think that's enough.
How do you express your fires of aggression out there on the ice? Do you do a wicked draw?
So are we talking
Well,
a 4
more rocks in
10
play
or a
is
4
more
all?
aggression, so it's just going for
Okay,
it.
in that range.
Getting a little dangerous and just
I'd like to see this
lobbing a
Poppy,
bunch in the center of
you
the
know,
sheet is
buried.
usually how that works.
There's a guy named that curls here named Mike Farrrell.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you've
Oh,
played
okay.
against Mike a number of times, probably. And,
Stay off.
we like
Stay off
to
of the heavy.
call that a Mike Farrrell end.
Yep.
Looks
where
good.
there's
Line's
14
really good.
rocks somewhere within the 4 or 8 foot.
Full 8. Always Croy. Okay,
Nice
that's
draw
good,
by
that's good.
Rich
It's
here
coming
on
out the other
sheet
side.
6.
Well, it is over curling on him a
It
little
just
bit.
goes
Yeah,
hard
but
there.
it really moves to the wall is kind of what they're saying there. So that's going to leave
Yeah.
Same way.
Andrews to
just
pair
one.
the exact same shot he just threw.
It
So they're
just
going to have
goes
an
hard at the end.
opportunity
The
now to
guards
maybe
did
get it
too.
a little bit
It's like it's
closer to the
slanted
guard
towards
and
the
stick
boards right
around
here.
here.
Look at how much that curled.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa.
Looked like Andrew flipped that one
Hunter.
out just a little bit at the end,
Hunter.
trying to make sure he got out around the
Hard.
guard.
Real hard.
And they're trying to carve it in, as you
Okay.
guys would say.
Good.
Yep.
And makes a nice shot
That's it.
and stays
Yep.
in the house. Wide open.
Great sweep by Hunter there, and good throw by
Drop
Andrew.
might be the shot still.
He did mention that he might have tossed it out a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Did he mention that? Yeah.
certainly with the ice here, it's way better to be on the wide
just
side
threw
on a
it.
lot of these hits. It really moves
What's that?
on the takeout, so just making sure
No, I
you're,
used to run
you're
through
nice
it. I
and
think we just
positive
got-
with the release,
we got
and
bit
you
on
can almost
Tom's.
always have a chance of sticking around and making
I
a
think
good
the
one.
draw's the shot,
Right.
isn't it? I think the draw's the shot.
Scott, I
yeah.
have a question
We
for
can-
you.
we
You
can
know,
get-
Yes, sir.
Like
So
that
you
thing
said
goes-
that a Mike Farbelow end is when you have 14 rocks in play. What would you call a Willie Farbelow end?
I would call Willie Farbelow and can I think about that one for a minute?
Okay.
Sure. Better be good though. The longer you wait, the less
I know, I'm usually a little quicker on my feet. Willie Farbelow and
Not heavy. Not heavy for sure.
jeez, I'm not
Lighter
sure.
than the
I was
last
gonna
one.
I was gonna try to liken it to his woodworking
Go.
skills.
Yep. You can go.
Precise,
Gotta go.
Precise,
beautiful.
Gotta go.
sanded, well sanded.
Troy.
Yeah, something to
Okay.
that effect.
Okay, line's perfect.
So now because Andrew's shot there rolled the second shot, there's no need for Richie to chase that one. He's just going to sink another one around that corner guard. It's a spot they're really familiar with. And looks like they're a little happier with it. But Todd thinks they probably have the same shot again.
Yeah,
they can even chisel off of the one Andrew just threw.
Right.
And still get it out that way.
If he throws a whistle jacker at his yellow one and clips it, it might even make a double, eh?
Potentially, actually, that's pretty close to lined up there, but that's not what he's trying. He's just throwing a control weight, same shot Andrew's been throwing here, and try to sneak under that guard there.
So whistle jacker, that's is that a professional curling term?
That's a term we came up with years ago here. When
it is if you want it to be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It is if you're good enough.
Yeah. They just, put a lot of weight on it. It's a whistle jacker. However, he's still probably
we call
not
that a
gonna be sitting.
Howard.
I don't think he can. It's be real tough to be sitting second here, wouldn't it?
It is to be really difficult.
Right. So I'm not.
They're right off it, getting a carve on. Let's see if Hunter Clausen could get that carve again.
It's coming.
Well, it looks like they're definitely going to have to come off their stone in some way, shape, or form. And unfortunately for them, it's just going to stick on the nose.
Right.
Now where?
Richie's team is shot two still. So now they're going to have to think a little bit about where they're going to put this one.
I don't think we want to go here because that's his out to freeze. Right
Poor
now,
Farrrell, in the meantime, on sheet 5,
go
is getting ready to throw seconds rocks
here.
for her team.
then he
And
might
they
still
are
freeze.
looking to
I think this might be our best
throw
spot.
a lightweight hit on this red
do you
rock
guys
that's
think?
sitting up in the top 12 and probably roll over a bit. Not only guard their shot rock in the 4-foot that you probably can't
like
see,
if we go right here,
but guard it
we
and
just
sit second.
rip it for 2.
Yep, exactly. They had a nice little flop to the center line right in
like
front
that?
of it. Get a center guard out
Even
of it.
if we're here, it's pretty
They're
good.
delicate shots, though. Obviously, you want to be precise here, but
Anywhere
certainly
in
don't want
here.
to cross the face and jam it on your own stone.
Right. And make sure you got enough weight to get it out of the house. the red
Exactly,
rock out of the
and
house.
it's curling early,
Yeah,
so
that was
that
tight.
disaster I just mentioned is in play here, and they're going to have to sweep hard to not jam.
Yeah,
And,
you should almost get off it.
well, those are the
Dude.
very
Up
tough
low.
line calls to make because you have to curl so much more than you think to actually cross the face and then kick it over top.
And
That-
Luke, you jinxed him, Luke.
I did. I'm
like-
sorry, Cora. I
House is
did
good.
jinx them.
Way too soft.
Well, Richie's setting up an end here to possibly score 3. They're sitting 2, and they're going to leave one in the open here, I would presume, and force them to make a hit and roll.
That'd be correct from what I see. I didn't see their final tap. They were thinking about going a little bit deeper into rings just so that they can't actually hit and roll buried.
Stay
But,
close.
but obviously, if you go deeper,
Right here.
there's a potential for them to freeze. But especially in the second end of a game, that's a call you're probably not going to see Todd make.
Right,
Yep,
right.
go.
So they're really sweeping here to try and get this rock behind the tee line.
14-4. Whoa.
Well,
And
I
it's
don't know
not
where
quite
to
going to
go.
get there. And it kind of, I think,
Okay,
overcurled
that's
on him a little bit
That's
too.
fine.
So it's actually
Good
a
shot.
relatively short hit
That's
and
not
roll
bad,
for Todd
actually.
Burr
Yeah,
here
it's
to sneak under that
He was
guard.
good.
And he's also got
Okay,
the
okay.
option for the double.
I think that's what they're looking at is the double.
Right, a little
Yeah.
from there. That's what I was thinking too.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
I
looks
guess
like
they
they're
did.
playing a double here.
10-5.
Not an easy shot either way, though. You'd think, unless he makes a...
No, it's okay. I mean,
You'd think that Richie and Greg are going to be looking at 2 for sure here.
Absolutely. I mean, the double. Well, the double is if the doubles made, it's just going to leave him a nose hit for 2. So this is a little bit of damage control here for Todd. He feels like if he plays the hit and roll, A, it's a very difficult shot, and B, he's almost always going to leave Richie a chance for 3.
no roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Farrrell rank now
Next
sitting
sweeping
I
ball
don't
here.
love the roll though, because we're behind the tee.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
I
Looks
don't
like
mind
it
just rolling
really
open.
moved on him, and they
this is
might stick on
Okay,
top of it, but it's just going to squeak over the top
that-
and leave
boy.
Greg Persker a draw for 3.
Close shot. If
Yep.
they would have just froze right on there, it would have been really nice.
Yeah, it kind of mentioned earlier, the hits kind of curl a good bit here, and we kind of struggled with that a little bit. Is that our peel weight doubles were
Colin,
actually
come on.
moving quite a bit on
Come on,
us.
swing a little
And we
bit.
weren't quite expecting, and it looks like exactly what happened there. They thought they had it halfway down the sheet, and then it just cracked on them, and they just missed that one.
Close.
Rock looks a little out.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa, just
Kim?
clean. Whoa.
Or no, this isn't Kim. I'm
Whoa.
sorry.
Throwing?
This is Libby Brendish
You want to take
throwing.
a roll? Take a roll.
Yep, she's looks like a
all the way.
pretty nice
That's fine,
shot
Libby.
here, hitting
Little
and rolling
further
under
out.
the corner guard.
Good.
It looks
Yeah.
like it's partially open.
And I'm sorry,
You
who's
like
got
that?
hammer on the women's side here in this end? Where you got red
Be Team
rocks.
Ryhme.
What?
So, yeah, that would be them.
You have to. This shit is.
So it looks like she made
Can't
it
hurt
good
at
enough
15.
that Cora is electing to come down
Okay.
and freeze to
Good
this
shot.
stone. And
Attaboy, Greg.
meanwhile, Greg
Good
does
throw,
make
guys.
his draw for 3. So certainly a
Good job.
good start for Team Ryhme.
Becca's rock!
That's an aggressive call here on the women's side.
Yes, for sure. It's very, especially with out the hammer here, you got to be make a few of these in a row to get out of a 2 or 3.
Yes, line!
Oh, that's got plenty of
Oh,
weight.
plenty of weight, but the line is good, and that's the most important thing is just staying on the high side of the stone. But it's gonna bounce, and yeah, Cora does need to sweep it out. That's good.
Works. We can either freeze to it, you can tap it back a bit.
13-8. 13-8.
Then we can either freeze to it. I think the
So
pro
now the
side is to
interesting
tap
thing is
it
I think
back a bit.
this rock is partially or fully open, so it's kind of in between here for Team Ryhme. Obviously, if it
I
was
mean,
buried under the
T-weight.
guard, they'd love to freeze to it, but because it is out in the open, even if they do freeze, Team Farrrell should have a pretty easy time blasting it out of there. So I do think they elected to play the freeze.
Line's really good.
There is, there is, and there's a jam possibility eventually on that yellow rock and those back two rocks sitting in the backside.
Yep.
Especially
14-6. Gotta go.
seeing where this rock ends up on that high side.
Yep,
if
it
does.
has to be
Okay,
on the high
close.
side to bring
Okay.
that jam into play, but it's
Fine.
obviously
Close.
it's very
Whoa.
difficult to freeze on the high side of an open rock.
Whoa.
Greg?
Okay, we have no backing yet.
All right. Yeah, but you're.
Whoa, guys, whoa,
Sounds
no
a little
line, no
wide
line.
and
I have
heavy
no
coming
line,
down.
Katie, no line. Amy's rock, if anything. No, I have no
Oh,
line.
this is just too heavy and gonna sneak by.
It's a good throw, Libby.
Cora
Sorry, too much ice.
pounding it, trying to get it completely out of the house, but it's gonna bite.
Looks second shot from here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
You like
So
here?
Tom O'Connor
okay.
starting the third end
Okay. 14. I got
with his lead rock,
They hit
throwing
and
up
roll
a
on
corner
top?
guard for
sure.
Team
There you go.
Burr.
Good, Tom.
Yeah, that's fine.
That needs to
Oh,
sit
there
down.
that does
that,
need to
Eben.
sit.
I think it's a
Almost a
1-foot
premature
tap.
raise of the broom there, but it is still a made shot.
I'm gonna give you a little less because that went hard at the end. I think it might have caught a little fresher spot. Okay, I think so. We only need T though.
Line is good.
Oh, true.
Well, this is going to be an uphill battle for Team
Right.
Burr with
Leah.
as good as this
Where are
Rich
we?
Rowan and Rink is.
Okay, here,
guys
then,
are going
yep.
to keep things pretty clear, I would think.
Line's good.
Absolutely, but this is one of those
Lots of line
situations
right
where
now.
the 5-rock team
55,
is going to be
yes, more.
helping Team
More
Burr.
weight.
Obviously helps the team that's behind with the hammer.
Okay, well,
As far as you can, keep going
I think
hard.
it's
coming, it's coming
5-rock
hard.
makes it
Little
quite
oh
easy
my
to just
God.
score
That's the
2
same thing
points.
this other
If
one
you're
did.
behind,
All
there's
right.
not even
He
though
I know.
Rich's
That's
team
just a
is a
lot of
great
weight.
hitting team. There's not a whole
All
lot
right.
they can do if
Yeah.
Team
It's
Burr
like,
makes
I don't
8
know if that's
shots. They're
fresh
pretty
right
much
there.
going to
Like
get
up
a
there,
deuce.
other
That
side.
carved at the end too,
Yeah.
hard.
And that's all they need right
Okay.
now.
So
Just
iron
take 2,
juice
force 1
here.
away for a few
So
ends
if I
here, and they'll
throw
be right back in it.
Just, I mean, if I throw a little less weight. Yeah.
I didn't hear Kim's comment here.
No.
I know she said
mean,
throw a
it's
little
not
less
sure.
weight.
Line's good.
I think she's
could
trying
just
to
throw around. She
freeze
might. I
on
mean,
that
she might.
again, right? On the
Line's
shot
real good.
rock and the 8-foot.
Yep, that appears to be the call.
Yeah, line's real good. You can go.
Right.
And certainly now, if she can get on that high side, I believe that they
Oh,
are
just
second
over.
shot. And if she can get on that high side freeze, it
Just
will set up.
freezing down to that back one.
So explain to the
well.
average viewer
Yeah. 'cause when you
high
put
side,
them
low
around, it's
side.
just easier.
Do you like the little
Right,
tap
so
again?
obviously throwing the out
you
turn
like to
here.
draw
So
around
then
the
the
center
high
instead?
Right
side,
here?
from our perspective here,
Okay.
the high side is going to be on the left side of the
You
rock.
want this? Let's play this way.
Relative to the nose, the middle of the stone that you're trying to hit or freeze to, and then the low side is going to be the over curling side on the right side of the nose.
Thank you.
Right.
So a lot of times, it comes into play obviously on freezes, but then if you're trying to make a run back or
Yeah.
something, so you might hear these guys say, "We're trying to hit a hair high." And that
Right.
just means hit it
Not quite
a little
out to
bit
it.
on the high side, the side the broom is on
It will.
of the nose.
Gonna over curl if anything.
That comes from the hippie days, right?
Whoa, it's
High
over.
side.
High
Yeah.
low,
Right
high low
around it.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and they did get a little over curl on that.
Yeah,
It's going to
I
leave
think we gotta
Todd
try
Burr the
that.
Moving
opportunity for a
hard
hit and roll
at the
here
end.
with
All the rocks are.
probably
Yeah,
somewhere
Look at
around.
even like 11.
Around it.
Yeah, he's calling just through the
Might need
house.
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Holding about 3 feet for just through the house.
Yep.
close enough.
Moves pretty good.
Shouldn't over curl like that.
Yep, they're just going to try and roll. I mean, they can't. Don't think they have the option to roll under, so they're just going to try roll somewhere in the open. Ideally, if they can get
Yeah.
somewhere
Close.
near on top of that red that's
Whoa,
in the
easy.
back of the
Close,
house
though.
over there.
Oh,
It's a
oh,
little
whoa,
tough to
whoa,
roll
whoa,
that
whoa.
far with this little weight, but if they could
Tom.
somehow make that chip and then
They didn't
roll
finish
right
it
on
really
top,
hard.
that
Go,
would
Tom.
be a
Go.
perfect shot.
Oh,
Okay.
Coming
Whoa.
under.
Not bad.
back four's
Oh,
okay.
they're just gonna leave it
Back
edge
four's
to edge,
okay, whoa.
and that's gonna make it difficult
Whoa, Amy's
for
rock.
Richie's team to follow up. And
Good weight.
obviously they can't get under now, so it might
Board.
means that they might roll out in the open and
Nose
then
is
give
not bad.
Todd's team a chance to roll under the staggered guards.
Okay, or a little, just an inch roll is pretty good too.
Richie's looking for an inch roll, he says here.
Do you like 10-5
I
here?
think he's just trying to tuck it just
Nose
a
is
tiny
okay,
little bit.
too.
no, not true.
Sorry.
Caitlin Flannery shooting 4th rocks
Yeah.
for
like
Team
10-5.
Farrell.
Yep.
Has a good,
Because Katie,
probably
maybe she gets
95,
it
if
and
not
then-
100%
Greg.
look at this red rock in the 4-foot.
Yep, hard.
I know.
Yep, it's about edge to edge with the stone. It's
All right,
biting
that's
the top 12 there. So I mean, this is one
10,
you
8, 7.
definitely want to get out to the broom here. You don't want to be tight. You want to make sure you're by that
was
top
like a
stone.
Same.
Absolutely.
And, but obviously, you know, if
Yeah.
the line's looking
Like that?
good, you might want to cut it close and roll underneath and put a lot of pressure on Team Ryhme.
Whoa. Ah.
Looks like it's hanging on him a little bit.
Little tiny set in that
Lane.
release.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Better to
whoa.
be on the higher side on that
I think
shot
it's 10,
anyway.
yeah.
So that
Give
is
Kim
Whoa,
that
whoa, whoa,
opportunity to hit and roll under a little bit and really
Yep,
force
yep.
a tough shot by Kate. Oh, I'm sorry. This
is
hammer.
last stone. So
I'm
you-
sorry. Yeah.
You're good. This
Yeah,
just
a little
gets to
more, right?
follow
Is that right?
Katie's shot exactly.
A lot
Yeah.
different. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that makes it a lot easier, right?
Yep, but you know, Katie rolled
Pretty good.
outside a little bit, but that stone in the top
Who's
12
shot?
is still in
Just a
play
10.
here.
Just a,
So I think that
just
pass
a 10.
Want to make sure they get by that one.
Control.
Just
or that pass was
stay on it. Yeah.
I like the out turn, I think.
Get on the nose.
Half a rock, right?
yours.
Oh, and then back on the men's side,
just
it,
worried it's straight
looks like
here.
Team Burr made a really pretty good hit and roll over there.
A little inside.
And Richie's going to have a tough
we don't
time
wanna
doing the stone. That's and then biting the top 8 foot.
Close.
like he's-
Whoa.
Be throwing a good solid
Whoa.
9-second type of normal weight at it.
Yep, these are big shots here, right? If he ends up nosing it and stuffing it, that certainly gives Burr a chance for 2,
Yep,
maybe
Troy.
even 3 this end.
Yep.
On the other side,
Whoa.
looks like they're sweeping hard.
Yep. Whoa.
Definitely don't want
Whoa.
to whiff it or roll
Whoa.
out.
Roll it. Go.
Nice
Go. Go.
shot.
Go. Go. Go.
Really
Go.
nice
Go.
shot.
Go. 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 Go.
Okay. Good end.
Okay.
And it looks like he's be able to stay above the tee
gotta
line.
move it
or
a
at least-
foot
Yep,
every shot.
exactly, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yes,
Todd's
if he-
still going to call for that little tiny tap, though.
Yep. Yeah,
That
straight
was a
freeze is
difficult
pretty
shot
good.
there for sure, and that's
Are you
one where if
behind
they
the tee?
overroll a little bit,
Okay.
it's behind the tee line and actually almost helps Team Burr and gives them something they can freeze to and generate a 2 in the center.
Hung there
with.
for a while. You held
But
it
now
there
they
for
have
a
to
while.
bump it back a foot.
On that, I know. Same at this corner. It falls out.
Andrew
in this corner.
Stapera playing 3rd for Team Burr this season,
Close. Yep. Whoa, line's good.
throwing his yellow rock, and it looks like he's got
Oh,
plenty of
room.
weight on that
Room.
stone.
Now
Now
we can
Todd's
almost
telling him
guard
it's
this.
hanging
Oh.
out there a little
Shot.
bit.
Line's getting
Sweepers
real
are
good
only
here.
cleaning.
The
Whoa,
late
whoa, whoa,
finish
whoa.
is in
It's got a
effect
hook.
here.
It's
Looks
got a
like it's
curl.
hooking.
It's got a curl.
Oh,
Nice
bars,
rock,
alright.
little tap, maybe a little.
Okay.
Just a hair wide.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're not directly behind the sheet, but it looks
Okay.
like Richie's
Yeah,
going
I
to have
like
an opportunity to throw board weight
11
and
and
get
a
on
half,
the nose
12.
here.
I'd
But,
rather
it's a difficult
tolerance is
shot.
12, but yep. I
Has
like
to
the
be-
broom.
Can't be tight and wreck, and he certainly
think we
can't
can
be
make
very
that-
wide either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think. I'm just wondering if that's enough. Okay. I
So
think.
Team Farrell ended up with 1
Okay.
in the first, and
Even
I'm
nose
not
isn't
sure they haven't
terrible,
hung the
you know?
score here in the second.
Looks
they're
it's going to
just
be
about
1
to.
for Team Ryhme.
Is that what happened? I missed it. I was concentrating on sheet 6.
No.
I gotta be able to split my eyes and concentrate on one sheet with my right eye and the other sheet with my left.
Whoa.
Oh, looks looks like Beck Miles is
Colin,
throwing up a corner
Colin,
guard here.
go,
but,
a little bit. Whoa,
Payne
pick.
here right off so
Ah.
far. Looks like it's got plenty of weight.
It hit that same
Needing
spot.
this one to sit.
Or it just picked. Okay.
Yeah, that was a
Oh.
hard curl.
Okay, it looks like Richie had a good one coming in there, and then right after they got by the guard, it picked and then actually hit it on the low side, which normally would be impossible.
No, just
But,
freeze, eh?
Rich has most
You wanna
kicks
move it?
of any curler I've ever known.
God, that was absolutely, that rolls like
Well,
3
looks
inches.
like
Hey,
he's
right
still
through it's
been
pretty
doing
good.
pretty good in spite.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I was going to, yeah, you're right.
Andrew with his last here in the third end.
Yeah, important shot here.
Line's
Looks a
good,
little bit tighter than his first.
But threw a
Line's
similar
good.
shot on his first here. This one's a little bit different. Just trying to freeze. Doesn't need to tap.
Line's real good.
Oh, they
Sweepers
got to
look
go.
You can
like
go
they
if you
like
have
it.
to.
Perfect.
Yep, yes.
They got to
hard.
go. They got
Looks
to
like
go.
it's really moving line-wise.
Got to really go.
They want
Line.
to stay on the high side of this
whoa,
rock.
whoa, whoa,
Even if they bump it, it's okay, a little bit.
Oh,
That's
a
the most
beauty.
important. That's a great
That's
shot
a
by Andrew.
Great shot. And really good sweeping
Good shot.
by staying off that as long as they did. That's rock is gliding. The ice is playing fantastic.
Just
We're
thinking,
getting
what
into
do
the
we-
third
what does he
end,
do
and
if
that
we
ice is
peel?
going to be keening up to about its
But I like it.
its
I think you're right.
best
We
here,
bump
and
it, we can be
hopefully
shot,
holds
right?
up throughout the game.
Bump
at
it
this
1 inch,
speed,
2
'cause that
inches, and be
was
shot.
Impressive.
Okay, I like it.
Yep.
You're right. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, no.
So
ice
that
has been
was-
getting pretty quick here the last few games.
I think we're right in here.
But sometimes if the rock's fully swept, we can see about a 15-5 hog to hog.
Want
which
to
is
move
very
it 3
quick.
inches, we're shot.
15-5 hog to hog is incredible. That's a good 26
Sorry, I just
second
didn't think
ice,
that was
no
gonna get there.
problem.
You
That's
got it, yeah.
world
Well,
class.
I thought
Yep.
we had to go all the way to get it there.
If you can make your club ice go 14 and a half, you're doing an exceptional job. And when you get up around that 15-second hog to hog, you are doing as well as any ice maker out there.
Probably
Absolutely.
close,
So over on the women's side, we got Team Ryhme just coming around to center guard here.
This one's
Close.
definitely a little bit
How's the
tighter,
weight?
but with a little bit more weight out
Okay,
of
line's
Greg.
good. Whoa, then. Got a curl. Whoa.
Oh, looks like it might be a
Looks
little wide
heavy.
and heavy.
It's heavy. Whoa. Whoa.
Richie calling a little bit of weight from the house there.
I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's kind of be an awkward
That's
spot
it.
bouncing
Oh, sure.
there. Yeah, and he's going to leave the door open for Todd here.
Are we still shot?
So what do you do here if you're Todd Bird? Do you lock down on your yellow? Yeah.
Well, so
what
that's,
he's
I mean, you
calling.
heard Todd ask Andrew if they're shot. So that's the first thing. You need to make sure
That's
they're
what I
shot
had to do,
here.
so I
If
mean,
they
just to
aren't,
hear
they
'em all.
probably need to
I
do
don't think
something
we
with
need a
that
ton
red,
more.
but it sounds like the verdict is
Yep.
that they are. So they are just going to
Yeah.
lock another one on top of their yellow. But depending
Freeze
on how
this.
close it is, they do want to be careful
Oh,
here
yeah,
because
for
if
sure.
they nudge their yellow a little
That
bit
would
too
take
much,
the
it might
red
nudge it to
probably
third
here.
shot. So
I'm
they
sorry,
might-
say that again?
So they're going to play the freeze here on the yellow.
Right.
But
So
it
we
sounds
get- are we
like,
getting
from
kinda
what I
like
heard
last
from
game time
Todd,
started?
their shot
Yeah.
rock, the yellow is, and then that red would be number
Yep.
2.
Yep.
But I'm
Okay.
guessing it's pretty
But we gotta
close.
make it.
So if they
Yep.
hit this free, if they're a little heavy at this
See.
freeze and they bump it on the
Few
high
welds
side,
on
they
it.
might nudge their shot, the rock that's shot now, to third shot.
Right.
Right, which they don't want to do. So they want to be a little bit more precise here in this freeze. A lot of times, especially on swingy ice, you'll see these teams kind of throw a little bit of extra weight and play will end up bumping it a
Should
little
be
bit.
pretty-
Just
felt
'cause
good,
it
guys.
moves so much. Kind of gives them a little bit tolerance there to throw it heavy. But on a shot like this, they want to make sure they use the sweepers and just let it glide in there and not bump too hard.
Not a lot of sweeping going on in this end, despite
Oh, easy.
all the
Yep,
draws.
straight.
This is,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
guys
whoa,
are
whoa,
definitely
whoa,
throwing almost dead
whoa,
weight.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And you're right about that. He did give it a little bump.
Did bump,
I think he's still
but
1-2.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Good shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Richie says, "Ah, shoot." So I think, I mean, that's
No,
the thing. It
right,
was
right.
frozen on that red, so like I said, I couldn't see the overhead angle, but I figured
I
he
think
would have
we
had to
just
bump
come
it
down
pretty
and
hard
tap it.
to make it third
Push
shot.
that there.
So
Sit right on
Or-
top
or-
of them.
or flat.
Yeah.
No. I
now
think it
Richie's
goes right
thinking
here.
about
I
doing a
think that's what
similar
we do.
shot here and
It could
pushing that rock.
not quite the same
So I
weight.
guess we
Just
have a
Talking
forced
about
shot,
tapping.
and then
close,
leaving a
well,
shooter
close
right
to
on
the
top.
same exact weight.
Make it very difficult
Yeah, I know.
for a team
Yeah.
to navigate.
Yeah, same weight.
Just kiss that yellow off the other. It's behind the tee line and make it roll under your red rock. That
I really didn't feel like it overthrew it either. I thought.
Both your shooter, red rock, and that yellow would be kind of rolling at the same time, and depending on how hard and how high you hit it, you might even be able to get shot rock frozen out of it.
Right.
But a very delicate shot here. If he's a little wide and heavy, it's going to leave Todd a pretty easy shot for 3.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. Lindsay.
Just a little bit of water.
No, he's got to get across the face. There's no way he gets it off the button.
Mr. Listney just brought me a delicious beverage to keep my throat well oiled.
Up and me being a junior curler, he'll bring me over some water here.
Mine has a lot of water in it.
Yep.
I guess not.
Yep.
Played a lot.
Oh,
That's
sweeping
real.
early here.
Yes,
Yep.
Mr. Persinger was definitely tighter than
Gotta
his
go.
previous rock.
Obviously want to get by
Gotta
the guard
go.
here.
I think he's
Gotta
on
go,
the guard.
Troy.
What do you think?
Gotta go.
Oh,
Gotta
look, I think it's
go.
close. Yeah, we heard that.
Hey, watch it,
yeah.
watch it, watch it. Roll it.
Well, let's see if they can spin it in
Full-
here.
Full on the floor. Yes.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, it does
so these
spin
rocks
in.
are very sharp, as in they were
So who's third
scratched
down here?
recently before the event, and so that means on shots
we
like
did move
that
that
where it's
forward.
kind of spinning, it's
Okay.
going to come over really
good
hard at
weight.
the end. So that means
carved.
Todd's going to have to deal with that
Right.
stone.
A little tight,
It
but I still thought
doesn't
we were
change
gonna be
things
fine.
too
I
much.
moved
He
in
just
the
would have
room
had
this
to
much.
I think
open
just like
draw
one
with
last
backing,
shot.
but now he has to actually
We
make a hit
needed
and
to
roll,
get it, but
which is a little more
Then
difficult.
you're just a little
He
tight.
could
It's
make
just
the
like
draw,
arms, though.
actually,
I think we
if
just
he
throw one
chose
over
to.
that,
He's got the whole button to touch with some backing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think
kind
of
of
the.
surprised he would hit
Because like
this.
Hunter's
Well, it's
didn't
because
curl
it's the
like
second
crazy,
shot.
With just his tap.
Isn't this hammer?
Yeah.
It is hammer, but he wants 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, he wants
Right,
that
right,
3. He
right.
wants the.
He was sitting
he
second
wants
and
to
We
tie
just
it
gotta
up.
get
So
the
yep,
inside
I mean
roll.
they're
Hey,
all
we
close
can't-
here. So from
we
our
can't
angle, we
bang
do have
into
to
our
crane
own,
our
'cause then we
necks
move our
back and look
third
at
count
the
out.
overhead.
One. Just hit and flop.
Yep, hit and flop.
On the Gale side,
See, it's a thin. He only has to move that an inch, and that one's all counting it. So it's not easy.
Miss Brundage
Huh?
threw. Make
Yeah,
sure
I
she
guess.
didn't jam on that back red rock of her own, but then rolled out at the same time. And I think Cora's gonna look to come under the yellow.
Yep.
Yep, good chance to
Corner
get the corner
guard.
guard here. Meanwhile, Todd's shot looks close. Oh, it looks like they're getting a carve on. They might have overswept it.
Come
That is the
on.
case. Yep, so it's just 2. Difficult shot, but certainly a missed
Come on.
opportunity there.
I'm getting some texts for folks that are
It's like
listening in
inch.
on our web stream
It's up
and
to you,
saying
but
that
it's
Luke
an
is
inch.
crushing you on the commentary, Scott. Well, that's because Luke knows a lot more about curling than I do. I know a lot more about ice making, perhaps, than Luke does. Though.
That's for sure. I actually do not know a whole lot about ice making.
All right, I'm taking over technically over here. Kicking Matt out, did a great job, but I have my drink.
All right, got away with it.
And, yeah, so any technical issues,
Got away with it.
all about me now.
Yeah.
Scott, do you know what drink I
All
got
right,
you?
no problem.
Let me
We got a
taste.
break there. Let's go get a deuce down here. So he's gonna go 2 under. So yeah, half the kick, I think.
Oh, that's a Godfather.
Otherwise,
That's
we can
right.
go under.
It's
If
a little
higher,
bit
we can
too
just
much
go under. If
amaretto,
it's
though.
higher, he's got to throw 2.
But delicious
cards
all
no
the
matter
same.
what,
Thank you,
right?
sir.
You
Is
should
that a
te-
backhanded compliment?
You should
It's
text
just like
that
a
back
tick,
to
I think,
Scott
depending
because
where
he
it
made it. And he said he's never made one before.
I think probably, unless it's off the center line.
They must not have any cherries
He's gonna
either.
he'll
in
throw 2 now.
I wanted to get Luke a little bowl
The
of
main thing we
cherries.
don't want to do is give.
But we didn't have any.
Luke is a little
Go
bowl of
back
cherries.
corner.
Yeah,
Such a
Receiver
nice
goes
young
out to the
man.
ticks, probably
it's
the
more.
shot.
He's more like a tangerine. Figure that out. Tangerine.
So I can hear you in my earphones, Christopher, but I cannot hear Luke.
Yeah, that one's kind of messed up.
Okay. I can hear him through my earphone, which
Yeah.
is working all right. What's the opportunity of
Mine's
a
good.
double here for Leah Yavaro? She's coming out. She's got the
Looks-
opportunity for a double.
Looks like the call here is to hit it a hair on the
Good.
high side,
Go, go,
but
go,
I
go.
actually
Good.
think hitting it on the low side,
Right,
they might
Tom.
be able to
Good.
roll under the corner as well. And they're just going to miss, but Kay's going to stick with this roll here and get it under the other corner,
That's a nice
which
shot.
definitely brings in the possibility that rock could be a counter.
Right.
Can I come get this one with the cap?
Yep, now I think Tim Ryhme's thinking about having to chase that stone. Whereas if she just hit that and roll out, then they were able to put it wherever they want. In fact, right back on top. And then
Leah likes to wear that hair up in a big bun. There's a young lady that plays for I think she plays for Team Holman. Called Pineapple. Because her hair is up in a bun.
It's already, I don't know.
Actually looks just like
Play
a
it
pineapple.
in. Can you get it in?
So back over on the men's side, Croy is attempting to take
right here,
care, and
get
it
to
looks
the tee.
like it either picked, grabbed, or he just rolled it over a little bit on his release. So they're just going to end up drawing the back quad instead. My guess is that was a pick for Croy's. I'll give Croy the benefit of the doubt here.
I think we're going long, huh?
So that is actually
Really
still a
good
decent
miss,
shot
though.
there. As Richie just
If
said,
you're
it's a
gonna
really
miss,
good
that's
miss.
a good spot to end it. If it's gonna pick.
That works.
Richie making sure he says the word pick, obviously, to save Croy some embarrassment.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't think Rich has ever missed a shot. He's actually just had picks.
Exactly.
I curled with Rich for about 3 or 4 years in the competitive league here, and he's actually a lot of fun to curl with.
Yep, I've certainly
line's
have not
good.
had the privilege of curling with Richie.
Yeah, we're
but,
over curling.
Certainly have played against him a number of times. Always a great personality to have on the
That's
ice.
good.
Yep, meanwhile, on the women's side, missed attempt at that
I'm gonna
hit,
go here.
that takeout and stick around there. So
Top
that's
8.
going to leave Katie Flannery an opportunity to hit and stick and lie to the split house.
Is this her first?
Just full 8's pretty good.
Skips first here.
She does have hammer.
Full 8 to touch board.
So it looks like she's playing a softer weight here. A lot of ice.
Down the line very well. Ooh,
It's also curling quite a bit.
Line's good. Yep. Whoa, then. Whoa, line's good.
Big sweep here
Yep,
for Becca
gotta go.
Miles. Great sweep.
Gotta go for line by the second one.
Good result there.
Okay, good. We're good. We're by.
Good call by Cora to get on it right away.
Way out the
They
other
might have
side.
been trying to roll under their corner guard,
Yep.
but
You gotta go, though.
you know, there's pros and cons to that. If you do roll under, obviously
strong
both
in here.
rocks are protected, but if
You like coming around?
Kim Ryhme does make a freeze on it, you're forced. But
Yeah.
Whereas if you just roll out in the
That
open
was-
here,
That was a no-doubter.
you're almost always gonna have
You
a
weren't
shot
drawn
for
until
two
I
no
said
matter
that.
what.
No,
Is that what you said?
no.
And
asked
Deuce
Only-
is really big here.
Only late in the game, maybe 8th end, you'd see her try to freeze on this. Maybe 7th end, depending on score. But yep, definitely going to hit this. And is she looking to? She can't really get on top of the other yellow rock.
Well, I think she
that's
can
over
roll to our left here under that corner
Right.
guard and potentially be shot. So even if she's not all the way under it,
Should
but
have
if she's
room.
half under it, that's going to make Katie's shot for two significantly
Got
more
room.
there. So here she wants to hit the low side.
Line's real
Exactly.
good. Line's real good.
Obviously, the big thing here is to stick around a shot rock, make
Think
Katie
you're
make
okay,
a
though.
good shot.
Yep, go Tom. Yep, you can over curl it. Yep, yep.
So
Nice draw
Yeah,
by
good,
Hunter.
looks like just-
Clausen, right to the button. Pretty much fully buried.
Yep, that's a great shot here, and like I mentioned earlier, with this really big and late swing here, you can come around rocks in the top 8 foot, and definitely
wanna
kind
try
of
to make
changes the
that?
way the game's played a little bit.
It's either that or we got to freeze.
What's your
And
call
then
here?
make that.
Yeah, you rip that open up top.
I
with
think
a-
if you
with a
make
1
this,
point
it's
lead,
pretty
or
good.
do you try to freeze down on there?
Well, obviously, it depends on depends kind of how you're feeling and whatnot. I will say that there's a lot of separation on these guards, so this is a difficult double. But if you want anyone in this field throwing the shot, it's this guy, Colin Huffman.
I played with Colin in an international
Yep.
here a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, roll it if you can.
Oh, and we had a lot of those same shots right there. He just struggled mightily to
That
make
does not-
doubles in the international. We were in the quarterfinal game and had multiple opportunities. And I was very
we put it
disappointed
back, or
in
we
his
just stuck in?
shooting, actually.
I actually remember that. You were livid.
I was smacking my
Yeah.
broom around. And
Yeah, I was trying to get you to commentate, and you were like,
Yep.
nope, can't do it.
I kind of got in his face a little bit.
That's not a smart move.
And I'm lying, obviously. He's a great guy to curl with, too, actually.
Do you guys know how many people that hail from the state of Alaska are on the ice right now?
Line's good.
I know Cora's from Alaska.
Yep.
Yep, you can't hurt the line either.
I know Colin's from Alaska originally.
Yep.
Let's look around a little bit more.
Oh,
think there's, one more.
You're good.
Is
Good
there
sweep,
one
guys.
more?
There is
Good
one
shot,
more.
Hunter.
Oh boy, don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. It's not Todd. It's
Like
not
20
Rich.
seconds.
It's not Andrew. It's not Hunter. It's not Croy.
Okay.
Oh, Greg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
am
what
I
kind of
thinking?
weight?
That's an easy one. 3 from Alaska.
Back
Huh,
line
Quite
just
impressive.
to split it
that
here.
is quite impressive.
Very
Okay.
successful club up there competitively at Fairbanks.
Apparently, they're having their first snow up there.
I'm not surprised.
Are there some folks from Fairbanks listening in?
Yes, there is. Kelly Schneider.
Kelly. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Yep.
Is Kelly a curler? She must be in Fairbanks.
Yep.
Chime in. Let us
Gotta
know,
go.
Kelly.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Hard.
Meanwhile,
Keep going,
Colin
buddy.
here
Next
trying
one.
to
Keep
dig out
going.
the stone with
Keep
the half
going.
weight.
Keep
Looks
going,
really,
buddy.
it's
Next
coming
one.
down really good. They have to keep.
Oh, geez.
That's the crazy thing with this amount of curl is that it's not just about getting by the top guard. It's about
Yeah.
getting behind your rock in the top 8 foot, even
Whoa,
though it's
went
over
backwards
buried.
like
I know,
fire.
that one came a long
But
way.
And you were right about that sharp rock, because that rock that he just threw spun back about a good 6 or 8 inches.
So, I mean,
He would've
that
better
is the
just
one
hit
thing
that.
good going here for Team Ruinen is that they do have 3 rocks in the house. However, there
Oh,
are
even if
also
you're
3
just top
center
8.
guards and Team Burr shot sitting on the top button. So this is
Boy.
definitely a great opportunity for Team Burr to steal.
And the red rock on the T line and the 12 foot on the
Line's a
intern
little
side
tight.
is not, it's too flat
Line's
to
tight.
try to
Yep.
use for
Gotta
Pretty
go.
enough.
Team Ruinen.
Hard.
So Andrew, big opportunity here for Andrew. If he can make this weld
Whoa,
really good,
whoa, whoa,
puts
whoa,
a ton
whoa.
of pressure on. But
Nothing,
unfortunately,
nothing.
it looks like a
Okay,
little
don't
light, but a good plan B call here from
Okay.
Todd
Yeah.
Burr to bounce off that
Okay.
tight guard and take away that tack waiter for Richie.
So you try the long double here, or do you try to set something up for your
That's
Skip's
what I like.
rocks?
Or
So
even
that's
if
the
it grazes
discussion
this
here is
one
when
on
you
the way
got
by,
4
it's
center
pretty
guards
good.
here. Yes, these guys can throw it
That's what I
hard,
told
but
Greg in the
you
shot
got to
before.
kind of
I mean, if we
reevaluate
hammer
and think
this,
about what your chances are of
We try to aim in
eliminating
the
4
pocket,
of
but if
those
we
guards in
graze
2
this one on the
shots.
way by, it's
But
not
I will
bad,
say the
right?
top double is very easy, and as Richie just
pocketing
says,
those
if you kind
yellows
of hit it,
is
just
super
graze that
good.
other one, it should
other words,
go
if you get
into
all
that
4 of
pocket,
them,
and you
that's
can get
okay.
all 4.
It might be able to get all 4.
Yep.
Pretty
It's
close.
you just
I-
want
actually, I
to
think it'll-
just graze that
it'll
top
straighten it
yellow,
out
and then
probably
it'll
in
straighten it
only
out,
5.
What?
and then hit both of those stones at about the same time,
Yeah,
and even
that one's
squirt
not in
through.
play. I agree.
Luke, are you
So,
going to
it's
graze
probably
that top
2/3,
yellow one?
Just
right?
graze it.
Or are you going to
Right
chisel
into
it?
that pocket.
Up to you.
Throw this one right in the pocket. You see what I mean?
I think this one's a little more of a graze than a chisel.
I like the
It might
chisel.
even kick through.
I just like saying chisel better than graze.
Yeah, me too.
He said when he, but he was telling Colin if he made that slip.
When I curl, and guys are like, well, and I skip on Thursday nights here at the St. Paul Club, and guys say, well, what weight do you want? Weight, and I just say, give me sensible weight for what we need
Just
here,
a
for
little
what
left.
the broom I'm holding, and then they go, oh, okay, all right.
Well, that's one thing that a lot of lower level competitive teams can easily forget about. We all get caught up with our weight systems and trying to throw a 9.5 and hit the broom. But really, all that matters is matching the weight to the broom.
Right.
And,
I think that's just deferring responsibility, Scott. Just throw the right weight. Well, obviously you didn't throw the right weight.
All right, so here we go. Richie is attempting this quadruple peel.
Yeah.
Looks a little
Oh,
tight
he's
out of
tight,
hand,
Yeah.
but he might still noses it, so it's, oh, wow, great save by Croy
Nice,
there.
that was impressive.
Well,
If I could do a replay and a zoom in, I'd do it, but I can't.
obviously there's some footwork
What?
involved in sweeping,
Well,
but there's
that's
also
not
some
horrible.
footwork involved in saving rocks, and Croy just made it.
That's
Mr.
Great
what I was
demonstration
thinking,
of that.
actually.
Mr. Burr still has that draw if he'd like
Yep.
out of Andrew,
Right.
but I
Just
think
two.
he's trying to minimize any possible danger by hitting this rock.
Yeah,
Problem
exactly.
is if he noses it and leaves it a little higher, now they may be able to use it.
That's true. He has to be really careful with where he leaves his shooter, but while he could find a way to come around, he feels like there's not necessarily that
Whoa,
great of a spot
whoa.
he can put it.
Even if he rolls out, he's better
Hunter,
than leaving it
Hunter,
Absolutely.
leaving it high. But
Hard,
now
Hunter.
trying to carve it in
hard,
there,
keep it going.
and he may just get 1-2 out of this. Oh, and this is what we said.
it's still very flat.
Right.
I don't think he can necessarily make a double and remove that
we just
stone,
make
but
this,
he could
right?
definitely
That
nudge it
opens,
over and
and
probably
then
get
he's
shot
gotta do
rock out
something.
of
You
it.
can't guard
Either way, still needs to throw it very hard,
Right.
and that's something that they're going to wait for Skips Rocks to try. But they're just going to try a similar shot here and open up the middle.
It might go
Luke,
back on
if he
that
was going to
side
throw it
yellow.
really hard, what would you call that?
I mean,
I'm gonna
there's
give
a
you a
lot of
clue.
words.
I'm going to give you a
there's-
clue.
Well, howitzer, is that what you're looking for?
That's what I call it, howitzer.
A whistler?
A whistle.
A whistleblower.
Whistle.
Whistle jack?
Jack.
Whistle
Whistle jack.
It's not like a whiskey jack.
That's one. Be honest with you, I have not heard of that one before.
Let's see if Luke uses this next time we have him mic'd up. Throw me a whistle jack.
If he does,
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to do it. He's
Nah,
$5 to his favorite charity.
Get it right on that one.
Oh, it does roll out. Well, actually, it's kind of not good
That's
because
pretty good.
that was an
Thought that
in-off,
might
potential in-off stone for them.
Right.
Obviously, if they would have
Good
stuck
sweep,
it, that would have been great.
Little
But,
tight.
you know, there's the angles are. There's just so much to look for there. Sometimes it's just inevitable that you're going to end up killing one of your own rocks in a house
I
when
know.
you're trying some of those double
Exactly.
and triple
We
peels.
might have stayed. Yeah.
He did open up the front very well
That was a
compared to
bad
about
game.
4 rocks ago or 3 rocks ago. Though, so
Exactly.
Todd
so
does have to play on this red one. And
this is a very delicate shot here.
looking a lot
This is always one good curler's nervous to throw because obviously if you set it a little bit, you just run it right back into your own,
Christmas
and
tree would be
that's a very
fantastic.
negative shot here.
One,
So
just one.
Todd's got to be precise. Just try and hit this flop on the inside and roll to a Christmas tree, so you have a little bit of that back yellow shown and a little bit of your shooter shown and behind that guard.
if anything, set up a possibility for your shot rock to jam on that back red one.
Yep, that would also do that.
Got to get onto the low side here, and it's curling. Here she comes.
Oh.
This looks pretty darn good.
Come on.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Actually, a little overswept.
Pretty good.
Todd wanted that to roll a little bit farther under
can't play
because
it
it
the
is
other way.
going to
We
leave
just
a
gotta make
double.
it,
However,
right? I mean,
as you
things
mentioned
are fine.
before,
If
there
we
is
jam
that
it, we
jam
jam
in
it.
the back.
That's
Right.
cool.
He's
That
gonna
was
be hitting
a,
one
that
of
was
the
a
12
pretty
foot,
darn
right?
good shot.
I guess it
Just make it
depends how he does it.
dead nose,
He might
right?
go over the top.
Yep, so this is a tough
he
double
hits-
here for
actually
Greg.
hits
I mean,
Right.
but hopefully it
No,
just
here.
rolls off
way,
it,
right?
right?
Puts
We
the-
can listen to Richie here, but
I don't
he's
think we
kinda-
can really worry about that right
Yeah, they
now. We
just-
just got to make the double.
Yep,
Right.
so
I mean, you can
as-
make it this way, but then he freezes here.
No, I don't think. I don't.
And
think
if you miss it,
right,
you
yeah,
leave it
it's not the
for a
rock.
steal.
It's lost that heavy, that hard. Mine aren't walking on the end with.
Is that a piece of toilet
Yeah.
paper sticking out of the
That one
back
I-
of
well,
Rich's
that one-
That's what I'm
pants?
saying.
Both of those.
What's
I
going
like
on
both
over
of those.
there?
Got
I
it.
think
Side
he,
nose.
We're real close.
had a
And then
little-
it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Is anybody with me on that one?
Well, meanwhile, Greg's going to be throwing this
But
double
we'd
here.
rather make contact.
And so
even if we
I'm
jam
zooming
it
in. I don't
here.
see it. It looks like a
it's
T-shirt.
brutal. Yeah.
Oh, we have fun with Rich down
My
here
weight
all
wasn't
the
all
time.
bad there, was it?
Yep.
Peel
So
is fine,
the
whatever you
big thing
want.
here is to open up
You
the
want
middle
peel?
and at least give you a chance to score. So obviously they'd love to make this double and not jam in the back, but as long as they make the double and kill that stone sitting top button, they're gonna have a chance to score here, which is a perfectly acceptable outcome. Obviously they're looking for 2, but you take 1, you still got a 2-point lead, and you have hammer and even in, so total
Whoa.
control of the game.
Broom right on the rock.
Right. Whoa.
That
hold
peel
it,
weight
hold it, pick.
should be holding.
Oh, another pick.
Oh man, we had it.
And it's I had one of these in
All right,
our
that's fine.
tiebreaker game last night.
They
You don't.
grabbed something.
It's more of a grab than a pick, but on a
He
lot
was-
of these,
he was
it's
high.
generally
I was
it's
having
very
Troy
rare
on
to
it
see
and-
any peel weight shots grab or pick just because they're moving so fast. But this is about the 3rd or 4th I've seen in the last few draws.
I think I
where
like
it's
playing
been
2
a
out
peel
here.
weight shot thrown really well, and then it just makes
fine.
a
Just
giant
2.
movement,
Should be
and
okay.
they lose the shot. And
I don't think
What
so.
do you think would cause
go
that?
on,
It made
well,
it
I mean,
really
obviously
well.
debris in the
I
ice,
had
but
Troy
usually
on
if
it,
there's
and
like
then
a
it moved like-
hair or
the feel would
significant
move
piece of
forward.
debris, it would just completely go sideways.
Rocks are
So it
very
could just
sharp
be-
as
yep.
Have we
well.
played it out here
So
this
if
year?
they find a little bit of a flat spot out there from
Exactly.
Yeah,
a,
she played on.
Just gonna throw 2 at it.
foot
They're
being
just-
dragged
they're like-
along
they're
while
making
sweeping
big
or something, the ice gets a little warm, and it could find that little flat spot and jump on that as well.
Yep, so definitely much more likely to be a flat spot, which would constitute a grab rather than a pick.
Correct.
But they're
Hard.
Yep, they're on this early. Big sweep here from Hunter Clausen. Need to stick his second shot. Looks like they're going to use their other one as backing. However, that is going to leave a double for 2 for Greg.
Not
It's a
an
little,
easy double, but it is
he
there.
doesn't, it's obviously, he
Shoot,
can't,
pretty
he can
thin.
see what he needs to. It's pretty thin,
Probably a
but that
quarter or
guard
less,
is
yeah.
also in play. But it should, if he was going to hit the guard, he would miss the double anyways.
think-
It is
I think
relatively
the same
thin.
just threw. Well, 7.5. Let's play 7.5.
So 7.5 is kind of a controlled, lighter peel weight. So they stuff they want. They don't need to throw this really hard, but they definitely, want to make sure they both go, and they want to throw a weight that they feel they can control well.
A
Make sure you keep it broomed
controlled,
down.
lighter peel weight.
Yep.
That's sensible.
No, exactly. So you'll see Colin on some of those hard ones. He'll be throwing about 5.5 or a 6-second peel.
Right.
And then this is just 7.5 seconds, where a normal weight takeout's
Yep.
9.5. So this is right in between.
Yep.
A little break here.
Yep.
Colin
Gotta
Whistle.
go hard.
Jack
Get
Hall.
by.
I get a big
Hard.
On the
You
guard.
do not want to wreck this.
Oh,
He's
he
just
did.
by it.
Oh, he did.
And he's
No.
gonna
Thought he was out.
barely,
Good shot.
just maybe, if that grabs, score
That will
2.
grab.
And those guys had actually given
Sorry,
up
guys.
on that. So,
That is terrible.
yeah, as Richie says, a terrible lapse in communication, but they get away with it.
It's just tight.
That was
Just
on
tight. I
the
yelled
guard,
right
was
out
it
of your
not?
hand. I don't know.
They thought it was, but
It
they
looked
thought
I
wrong.
just thought
It
he
looked
went
from
like
our
that.
spot, too.
I yelled instantly. He didn't do his normal thing.
So you can hear. So listen to
No,
Richie
I know,
here.
but I
He's saying that
I-
Greg didn't throw it like he
I
normally did.
instantly yelled. So you tell me what I think. That's what I thought. Yeah. It was no outward like his normal like. Yeah.
So these guys are great communicators, and it's
Yeah.
always really valuable to listen to
Yeah.
the conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Got a big break.
So yep, as Richie
That
says,
was a
it's a
terrible end.
big
Let's
break.
try to play a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Yes, we got to play a little
Yeah.
bit better.
That was crazy.
It almost like it had the opposite motion of a pick and jumped back out.
Yep. Call
Like-
that a fall. Or a fade. But so I mean, kind of summarize that conversation a little bit. The thought is that Greg's
Sorry, that was
usually
terrible.
very positive on his release, and that time he wasn't. He kind of thought he turned it over, and usually when you do that, it's just going to curl a ton. So he kind of gave up on it. But
Did you get a time for that
by
one?
some
'Cause
miracle,
I'm
it didn't crash in the guard. They got by, and they got the double and stick
We'll,
for
cre-
2.
we'll credit that to the early sweeping by Huffman.
You sound very sure.
What's going on sheet 5? It
That's
looks
a
like
good
there's
question.
That's a great question.
3 rocks left.
We got a 3-1
an
game on
exercise.
sheet
Top
5,
four lines,
and
okay.
Kim
Last one?
is throwing
So I
her
can give you
first rock with hammer.
'Kay.
She's got a rock behind the tee line of Cora Farrell's to use as backing, and either lock down to, or better yet, sit right above the button and have an opportunity for 2.
Yep, so she's attempting what we call a skips deuce here, trying to score 2 points and just skips rocks.
She's got plenty of
Looks
weight.
like a little wide and heavy.
She set that out just a tiny little bit too.
Trying to tell the sweepers they don't have line.
No!
Yeah. And,
That-
and it curled 4 inches.
That was just a little too much weight.
Just a little overswept early in the shot.
It's been all weekend, so I don't know if it's the rock.
And so
Line's
that's
good.
and a good sweep by Cora there, I believe, to get that to 3rd shot. So now Katie's going to have a pretty risk-free draw to the top 4 foot to put a
Where
lot
to?
of pressure on Kim.
Just too much.
Absolutely.
Good.
If she can get full 4 here, it's going to force her to
Yeah.
try to touch the
Stop
button.
it.
Even you kind of want to bite the button
She
here.
said you.
But
she heard you,
make
so you
that
gotta
draw
go.
as tough as possible.
Oh, okay, that's what she heard you say.
I think if you bite the button, and then they try to come around and
Mine
get
is
tight and get to
good.
the top of your stone, I believe you're still sitting 2. That's kind of where they
Right.
want to throw it in that threshold to where
Gotta
if
go.
they ever come on top of your stone, you're still sitting 2.
I'm not sure.
See
But
the
unfortunately, you
Are
do
we ever
not
coming
want
down?
to you don't want to be deep here and leave a pocket,
Where-
and that's looking like
Okay,
what the result
bring it back
is. So
here
yep,
then.
as Cora's saying, you got to
Make
bring
sure-
it back, make
well-
sure there is no pocket.
I just don't want to leave
That's
a pocket.
unfortunate.
You know, so that's
2
gonna.
Okay.
2 rocks about 5 feet, 6
I'll
feet
just throw
heavy
less weight.
Yep.
Give me
in a
second.
row. She needs
So-
to make a good shot here. Give it to your sweepers. This ice is playing a good 25 and a half
Exactly.
seconds. Give it to your sweepers. Let them carry it down there. They can sweep a rock. These gals can sweep a rock 6 or 8 feet, no problem,
Okay, what'd you get for that last one?
when the ice is playing as well as it is and
I gotta
gliding
give
as
you
well
about
as it is. So
5 feet less.
Yeah,
try
no,
and
it's
give it to you
definitely a
nice
very
this
slick
time.
track here, and now you've just
Yeah.
seen 2 or 3 of them
think you got
slip
it, don't
through,
you?
and you've had times on those. I gotta believe this is a fairly high percentage make here for Kim.
like just
as
a
they
touch
should have
less.
all the information they need to make this shot.
Don't
And
you?
even if the line,
Right.
so this is
you
one
like
where they're playing to the line.
there?
Now that guard's a little high,
Okay.
but as long as they get by the guard and they're a little heavy,
Yeah, I
they
like
might be
tight
able
guard.
to use that back stone as a little bit of backing too.
I like
so
the
now
out
you gotta
though.
balance throwing it to your sweepers, but also making sure that you're there.
I know.
I'll put a
Good
time
try to
on
go
this
here.
one
I
from
don't think
hog
we
to
need more than
hog.
this.
Here we go. This
Little
looks like it's
tighter,
got
though.
plenty of weight as well.
So Libby's saying it's a little tighter,
Yeah.
but like I said,
Whoa!
if it's tighter and there's a lot of
Whoa!
weight, they
Yeah.
do potentially have backing.
Right.
So a lot of good
No,
teams here will be
no,
telling
where
their
is it?
sweepers
Where is
it is
it?
in relation to the backing.
14-4.
Looks pretty close to me.
Mine's really good.
So that is quite heavy. That's a solid
You wanna
back
touch
12
center,
weight.
that's it.
Nice
But
shot.
they did manage the line very well, and they're able
That's
to
good. Bring it here. Tight. Line's
use their
perfect.
backing there and get a make.
Right. That was a good
Important
call
shot
there.
there.
Perfect
Make
as you
sure
get to
you're
the line.
there.
Go,
Throw it a
go,
little
go, go.
tighter. Give it to your
Rather
sweepers.
overcurl.
Fine shot by Kim.
We made a
It's
point
very important there to
that
commit to
Steve
what you're
got
doing.
one.
Now you see a lot of teams be like, "Oh, well, we have backing so we can throw it harder."
Yeah,
but
well,
unless you in a shot
gotta
like
move
that,
something, don't we?
in order to use the backing, you need to be
Yeah.
heavy, and if
I
it's
like
heavy,
that.
it's not going to curl as much.
Right.
So you need to, in order to use that backing, you need to take
Yeah.
ice to where if you had good weight for the draw,
Yep.
you'd wreck on the guard. So
Yeah.
sometimes those are kind
So
of
like
made by
10?
luck almost, but the good teams always commit to one shot in that situation. It looks like they did commit to throwing that a little hit heavy, and then just using that backing as a little bump.
They did, and us recreational guys, sometimes we get in those positions. Well, we could do this or we could do that, and then you kind of get the game moving along. You're playing in a league
Yep.
game, and you're just
Yep.
trying to make sure you're staying on time as best you can, and then you don't
Whoa,
really
easy.
commit
Whoa,
because you head down the
Whoa,
ice,
whoa,
and
whoa.
then your communication breaks down a little
Yep.
bit, and you see a lot
whoa.
of missed shots
Whoa,
that way.
right.
Yep.
Whoa. Into the rings. Yep. Hard.
So now over back on the men's side, Hunter is trying to play
Good
a little
shot.
hit and roll.
Real
And so he's
good.
going to make a
a great
beautiful tick and roll under the guards.
Line's good.
Great shot by Hunter.
Whoa.
Can't hand place that one any better.
Like hacker board.
Whoa, guys. Whoa.
Yeah, so accomplishing 2 things at once. It's removing that center guard. Actually, 3 things at once. It's removing a center guard. It's giving you another corner guard and giving you a rock behind your other corner guards.
Colin can see that rock.
Yep. So important shot here, as we mentioned
Close,
earlier.
yep.
The
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep.
important
yep.
to get by the guards here, and
Yes.
well, it looks like they're on it hard and early
Whoa.
here.
Whoa. Whoa. Yep.
Looks like a good shot coming in.
Yeah, nice shot by Colin.
And he's going to roll into the 4-foot.
It's a really good. Really
Yep.
good shot.
Very nice.
Made that one look easy.
We got
1193,
3 on the
good
men's
shot.
side for Team Richie, all
I don't mind just
piled
the
in
nose hit.
there. This is gonna
Yeah.
probably
this
create a
double.
blank end, I'm thinking, or
I think with the 3 guards, that's actually relatively unlikely. Now, if there was just 1 or 2 of those guards, Todd is behind. He really does need to score 2 or more here.
right.
So a lot of times you'd see him try to tap those, but because he does have 3 guards, he's fine just making a double or maybe even going for a triple, and then he'll be able to use those guards to generate his 2 or 3.
I think if he's able to roll under that
Yeah.
guard, they're gonna
Make it
rip
the
that
double.
straight
That's all you
back
do.
on it. The red one,
Yep.
at least,
Whoa.
on the
Yep.
outturn
Yep.
side.
Yep,
but
absolutely. Definitely the yellow guards are a little better set up for him. So I think the
Hard.
call was just a nose
Okay.
double.
Whoa. That's fine.
And
Not bad.
I mean, he was trying to get that other one, but it does leave his shooter in front of those 2 reds. So Team Richie here is going to have to be really
I
careful
don't think we can guard it.
about what they do with the stone. They could now, as Richie's saying, they could guard. I mean, this is something that
He
you
can,
never
the only
see
thing is
in
he
the
can
4
make
rock
like
free
a
guard
hack
zone,
waiter
right?
and
But,
get one of them out,
what the
right?
5 rocks done is it's kind of
Maybe
made
it's tough.
teams think that sometimes the best defense is a better offense,
The
right?
guard's
So
not
when you get a
bad.
situation like this, when you got 2 buried, you throw a guard on there, and now all of a sudden, Team Burr, when they're
Got 2
down
corners.
3 and ideally throwing draws, are going to be trying to blast for a few shots.
right.
Should I go look
That's
at
why I
where
was
they're
kind of getting
sitting?
into
Okay.
the blanked end thing. I could kind of see a
I
guard
think the
getting
guard
ripped
might be right.
and someone making a double, and
I mean, he has no way to get this. He
pretty
can
soon you
jam
got an
it,
empty
that's
house
it, and roll under the
and only
corner.
1 guard up, or
Yeah,
possibly the
I
2
think this
red
might be the
guards
shot.
up.
He has to run it,
We'll see what happens.
right?
No, so this is slightly
top
Yeah, right
risky
here.
in theory here.
Yeah, the
for
guard
Richie to
would-
throw this guard, but if it's made, like Richie
So,
said,
we're
they
talking
don't.
split in the
Ty
center, right?
really has no choice but to try and run
Right.
it back.
Maybe a little bit left.
And he can make the
Huh?
run back good, but certainly, if
I just
Richie ever
threw Croy
over-curls or
to the
under-curls in
center,
this
but
guard, it's going to leave an
That's
opportunity
the same ice I gave Croy, right?
for Team Burr.
A good guard here does
All
a
right.
lot for them. They're up
Yep.
3, so
So
they have that
splitting
opportunity.
center
I
is
think
pretty
if they were
good.
up 1 here, they might think a little differently.
yeah, but
that right?
I don't want it
I
to
think
go
if they were
way
up
over
1,
where
they'd
he,
almost
you know,
definitely throw
you
the
show
guard.
him half, he can make it with
I
that
think
turn the way it
just
curls.
being up 3, obviously, kind of want to lead defense
So we're
first,
talking 20?
and you're a little more
15,
hesitant
20?
to throw throw more guards up. Obviously, the more rocks in play help the team that's behind. But like I said, with the 5 rock, there's gonna be rocks in play no matter what. So you got
Solid ad,
sometimes
guys.
you just got to play aggressive and make sure you dictate
Solid
play.
ad.
So that
Looks like
if
it's
you're
all
without
there.
the hammer, you want
It's
you want play to
it's gonna
be in
be
the middle.
Colin. Starting to
And
go
likewise
hard.
with the hammer, of course, you want play to the wing.
Get ready, Colin. Got to cross
Looks
it a
like
little.
this has to curl quite a bit, so we're gonna have Colin really lean
Go,
on
go,
this one
hard.
and get this all the way to the center line.
Hard, I think. Hard. Go, 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 go. Okay.
It's a great shot.
Good shot by Rich.
So
Maybe
Very
just run it
nice
this
way.
way.
Todd's got to play this run. So
That's good.
we got
Yep.
big opportunity for Andrew here, because if he does make it good, I think his shooter's gonna roll to another corner guard. The rock that was just thrown is gonna roll out,
whoa,
and he's
whoa,
gonna
whoa,
make
whoa.
that double there.
Whoa, whoa,
Looks
whoa,
like
whoa,
he got it
whoa,
a
whoa.
little wide.
All right.
Unfortunately, it's just
Good
gonna
shot.
piece his own over the top of the others, but he does at least clear up the middle. But now I think definitely
There we go.
Richie's gonna guard it up again.
Yeah, they're
And,
committed now by
Yep.
far,
Little-
right?
Just 2 feet tighter.
They have no choice but to
What did I
commit
throw there?
to.
21? Okay.
Oh.
All right. So about the same.
Meanwhile, back on the
2
women's
more
side,
feet probably.
Cora Farrell just made a big weight double peel.
It was a big weight. double
She can
peel.
throw really hard. Obviously, a former teammate of mine in the Youth Olympics.
Little more
Cora
ad,
and
boys.
Katie, and
Oh, it's got
Cora,
it's
she
carbon.
can throw it hard. She could.
Yeah.
I think I clocked some of her peels around 6.5 seconds.
Wow.
She can. I think she's in the last couple
Get
of
it
years
in if
been
you
trying
can.
to
Can
dial
you
it
get it in
back
now?
a little bit and focus more on
Rich
on
had
the
another
accuracy
pick.
part of it, but.
Where is it?
Quite unfortunately for Richie, a very costly
Do I
pick,
just-
because now there are, if I'm counting right, 5 corner guards.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, Richie
Yeah.
taking his anger out on the ice there.
Yeah. If they make the double here
So,
and
yep,
tuck
so
under,
good
they're
chance.
in
Kinda weird.
great
Yep,
shape
double
for
and
the
roll.
deuce.
This is a pivotal shot in this game, I think, for
Yep.
Andrew coming up here.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
The Youth Olympic trials are going on this weekend.
Yep, right. I think the final's going on right
Yeah,
now.
Tom.
Is it?
Actually, yep.
Okay.
So that's
Hard-
going to be team
Okay, okay.
Coleman Thurston versus team Charlie Thompson.
That's okay.
Is that? Oh, okay. Coleman worked at the Chaska Curling Center all summer long with me.
I think we
It was
just go try
fantastic.
to roll just a little, right?
So obviously
So,
wishing best of luck to
what
both
turn?
those teams and a well-played
Hey,
game.
yeah, we got to play that.
Not
Slot in
obviously
control.
focused
huh?
on what's going on here. I'm not too sure
like
what
that?
end they're in.
I think you're good.
But I highly encourage you guys to check line scores out
want to.
there.
Yeah, a
and,
little more.
Throw a little bit of support
just don't
over
want-
to
we can go
those
here,
guys
you know.
as,
Actually,
Youth Olympics, it's a big deal. It's a I mean, still to this day, the best opportunity, or best experience in my life, and I think
Fantastic.
a lot of pressure going on in that game for sure.
Is it as big of a deal as the big Spiel?
Yes. Bigger.
Now, little bigger of a deal.
Not as fun.
Little-
maybe.
Not depends on what kind of fun you're looking at.
Well, right.
I'd say the big Spiel's a little more fun to lose, and the Youth Olympics is a little more fun to win.
Absolutely.
Whoa. Whoa. Close. Colin.
Thank you.
Colin, gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go hard.
Then we gotta.
Trying to draw that rock in there, carve it in there, as you say.
And well,
We're
just
gonna get a little
avoiding
jam.
the jam, and
And is he going to sit one anyway? He is.
Okay.
Oh, did
Oh,
Richie get that
look.
out?
1, 2.
It looks like it should be out.
yeah, yep, it is.
It is.
Looks out to me. Big sweep there from Richie. You could see him
It's out of the house, but it's
give
in
it all
play.
he had
Wait.
there. Yeah, so I mean,
Just
like I
I
said,
think
there's
this
still
is
5 corner guards
correct.
up. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I was
main
playing for.
thing.
the
Tom's
big
corner.
thing they wanted there is to keep their shooter around the
I think
force
so.
Todd to
I think
play to
his
the
rocks
middle or
just
take
moved,
some sort of
you know?
hit and roll, but now he's just going to have
You weren't that
a free
bad.
draw and a
late.
good
I mean,
opportunity
10,
to skip
10,
deuce
2,
here.
10, 1, 8.
Obviously,
Not
would
bad.
have liked opportunity at 3 points. A deuce keeps him in the game.
Oh,
All right, bury this, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
On the
figured
Gale
that,
side,
even if we roll
yeah,
under,
Miss Brundage
it's not
throwing
that bad,
14-7.
her
extra, and then you kind of
second
Die.
and
Nope,
coming a
nope,
little
nope,
bit
nope,
deep.
nope.
They haven't seemed to have been
That's
able to
fine.
adjust to the speed of the
I'm
ice
fine with
very
that, but I
well.
think my second would've been
You
fine.
just don't see much sweeping going on at all on
I
draw
agree.
shots. And here's Todd again,
I think this way's
throwing a
better.
draw. Yeah, both on the men's and women's sides. Draws are pretty much being thrown almost at dead weight. All they're doing is cleaning.
Gotta go easy, guys.
Okay.
Gotta
And
go easy.
especially in the third end, we saw a ton of shots thrown down this line. So I have good reason to believe this is probably the quickest track on the sheet.
Yeah.
And yep, as you said, they're right off of this stone. They need this to stick at least half 8 foot. And that's really close.
Very close.
It looks like they are just shot,
So
but
probably
they did
heat
slip so
here,
far
but I don't
behind the
think
tee
we're
line
there. I think
that
we're right here.
Greg really doesn't have to be that precise here. Anywhere
Yeah.
full 8 or
We can get
better,
this
as
one,
long
get a
as
little behind, that'd be
he's
good.
at
No,
least
I-
half
I-
under those
I really
guards,
planned
and
just
I
fine.
think,
it should be good enough to
Just,
force
you know,
Todd
just
this one
control.
point.
I figured it was pretty close.
Right, that is
Yeah, Ted.
yellow
And
is
if you-
sitting
you know, I
is
knew it
sitting
was throwing
shot
sure dead anyway. You
for
can see
sure on the men's side. Todd is sitting shot there,
it.
but
It was playing.
Philip Tilker sent a message on the YouTube chat, and then he retracted it.
oh, okay.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that.
Is it
'cause I-
something about Richie's picks?
something about Richie's sweeping?
Gotta go!
Well,
Gotta go!
So I think we got the nature of the comment out, anyways.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
well, I don't know.
It was-
I think if Philip was sweeping that one in the back rings, I think it'd still be a biter.
Get a 10.
Well, right to the
Ooh.
Yeah, but doesn't
Good
he have
one,
crazy hair? His hair might fall.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that hair. You know, it's a little
That's
bit of
good.
weight. That's a little more weight on the broom head, though.
Yeah.
So I
Same draw.
you
Yeah,
gotta,
same.
you gotta, you
What?
gotta think about that stuff.
Yeah, a little more.
Every bit
Yeah.
counts, right?
Well, way back in the day before your time, Luke, you guys used to smoke on the ice. And they'd
Oh,
see
yeah.
a rock come heavy and
Yep.
tap that
I mean,
ash
I mean, you
out
guys
there.
had lots of tools that you
Yeah.
could.
Phil probably just shakes his
You had
head.
some
and
corn
makes sure-
chaff, you had
I was like,
cigarette
oh,
butts,
oh.
all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
But luckily,
Although
yeah,
actually,
right in your
out of
hand, you know what I
Tilker's
mean, where they
book,
can sweep it and pound
his
it.
son Jackson actually uses popcorn too. Popcorn kernels. He's really good at it.
Keeps
Phil's got a little signal he gives them, and he just throws
Yeah.
a little bit of
Oh.
popcorn kernels on a sheet.
I thought maybe he kept him in his jowls and just kind of spit one out like a seed.
Yeah, no, he's
Let go, I wasn't sure it was
very
fine.
talented young
You
man.
had sweeping
Actually,
weight
just
the whole
starting to
way?
curl
Gotta be
too.
left,
It's really
guys.
exciting to see him.
Okay.
It's
Todd's
good starting
got
out
plenty
on
of
the
weight
rocks.
on this rock too, but they are
10.
putting the broom to it.
Just get a little roll.
Yep, looks
Get
like
a
just an
little roll,
easy,
stick around,
controlled
that'd be
sweep here. Exactly what you want to see if you're Todd Burr.
good. Yeah. I'll roll your way.
It's coming down. It's coming down.
Looks like it's curling quite a bit, so you need to make sure that they hit the tee line here, and
Nice
they do.
draw.
One.
Very nice.
Ooh,
Yep, it actually
all of it.
almost over curled on him, though.
Almost
But
did.
good, thankfully. The weight was absolutely perfect there.
Okay.
And Todd Bird does get his point. But now, certainly, Team Burr is going to need to get all out aggressive here. They really want a steal coming in the sixth end.
Whoa!
Yeah, I would think Team Rahonen's going to keep this rather clean. Look to score one.
Yep.
I think in the sixth end, taking one will be just fine for them. They'd take a 3-point lead
Exactly.
in the even end. Looking to just make a force or even give up 2 in the seventh wouldn't be the worst thing for them. Having
Yep.
a 1-point
If
lead.
you- if you had
Like
going
this way or
into the
that way?
final.
We would have hit that guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tilker put the
Like,
message
you got
back,
Troy
so
on it,
he
right?
said it was a max
Go on.
effort sweep by Rich.
That it was.
And he said he does not need any popcorn.
On the Gale side, what do we got going here, Luke? What are we seeing?
All right.
Skip
so,
track?
yep, looks like I think it's Katie's last here. So, no, it's got to be her first. Trying to look out down below the glass here and count the rocks.
Yeah,
But I think I'm assuming it's her first. So she's got the one buried under the corner guard in the top 12 foot on the right side of the seat. So she's just kind of trying to split the house
Get away
here.
with it?
Make a force.
Oh, she's
wait a minute.
actually
No,
got the
she
hammer.
does have
so
the
she's-
hammer, yeah.
she's- This is
Oh, this is going to
Yeah.
go through the house.
Yep, go hard, go hard.
Okay.
Yeah,
big
yeah,
important sweep here.
Well, that's what I thought.
Okay.
And ooh, it just stuck around.
Come sit on it.
But the one danger in playing that shot, and rather than just drawing the open 4 foot, is that it does leave this freeze. And now, especially on out there behind, Team Ryhme does need to think about taking this risk, especially since both rocks are buried. I think she can freeze to the stone and be shot, and that would be a force.
Okay.
Team Ryhme has had a really good run this
They just sit on it.
this tournament. They've played like just really like solid,
Yeah.
solid strategy. Haven't missed a lot of shots.
Well, they are in the final.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both teams here obviously having a good run.
So
You know who is it? Arthur Asham? Who's the guy that?
Arnold.
Arnold. Yeah, Arnold Asham. You know, he retired from Asham curling, and he's now a dancer.
Yeah, he's been what is that?
It's like a Métis dancing. It's called.
Yeah, it's like our version of.
Break dancing.
Oh.
But I challenged Kim Ryhme. She's a dancer to that style dancing. Yeah, the video did not survive. Thank goodness.
Well, hopefully she is not thinking about her dancing right now.
Line's
but,
real good.
She does want this rock to curl and stop. And unfortunately, I think it's going to need a Richie pick to do that, or some Jackson's popcorn,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
fine.
going to get neither,
Sorry, guys.
unfortunately. So it's going to be an open draw for 3 for Katie Flannery.
They're going to take well control of this game.
So this is an important shot, though.
Yeah.
It's really these are shots. It's really easy to kind of rush through them. Think you have the whole house to hit, but these are the shots that you got to make 'em.
Right.
There's a big difference between being 4 up and 3 up.
Honestly, you guys are doing fine. I'm just
Yeah,
not.
and she looks like she's giving this to her sweepers to
Yep,
make sure.
sweepers on early.
Clean.
Now they're kind of backing up a little
Keep
bit.
it clean, maybe.
That's a good sign.
Well,
But
On it and off it and
I
on
mean, a
it.
little dangerous there. You always want to be careful of pounding those and then coming all the way off like they did, because that is where you do have picks happen. And obviously, in a shot like that, where you do expect to miss a very high or make a very high percentage of the time, you do want to do everything you can to take the pick out of play.
Threw that right into the side path,
Great
too,
great
which
result.
is always a good
Yep.
thing to do. And later in a game, you can throw that rock towards the
We'll come the
slide
same way.
path, and it will check up a little bit better for you, where it's flattened out a bit.
So Farrrell scored 3.
Yep.
They
So,
did.
no. So that score is going to be 6-2.
keep some rocks in play.
And now Team Ryhme does have the hammer, and certainly, like I said, get some rocks in play, and they're going to be doing everything they can to score a 2 or a 3 here in the 6th inning.
Right? And I'm going to make my shots this end.
Hunter Clausen comes
So
out
good.
with his second for the seconds, his first rock. Looking to set up a guard here on the center line, while Team Rahonen has their corner and one in the house.
So my guess,
Good on.
we're focused on the women's game over there, but my guess is that there's that tick made, and then I'm guessing either a pick or a hog or a throw through then. On second
Yeah, it's
rock.
got to be less than half.
And then obviously Richie came around that ticked corner guard, and now has it in total control of this end.
Yep. Good. Nice shot. That's good.
Where does Jackson Tilker curl?
Up again?
Granite Curling Club of Seattle.
Either there or here.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
think Phil could chime in if I'm wrong. I believe he's 7 years old.
Put it there.
And so he's just starting with our Little Rock Learn to Curl program out in Seattle. He's been out in the ice a few times this year, I believe.
That's wonderful. We
Line's
got a
good.
strong program at the Chaska Curling Center now, too. Their junior program, about 60 kids involved. And a lot of them are in that 7 to 9-year-old range.
Yep.
And that's a wonderful thing to see if they stay with it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's all the difficult thing for getting kids interested in curling is obviously the amount of required focus for a long period of time.
That's always been my
Half
problem.
now.
I didn't start till I was
Do
35.
we want to touch this?
I don't know. Yeah,
Because he's going to go under at the
One
end.
more.
No, it's definitely
Okay,
everybody's
then
problem.
it's half.
But it's always great to see young
Yeah.
kids interested in curling. It's definitely what the game needs more than anything.
Right.
It's interesting. To me, I think the connecting with like-minded players at a young age, getting friends that curl,
Absolutely.
and having a little bit of success, I think, is important.
You think you're spot on there. I mean, if you look at a lot of successful curlers, especially juniors, right? A lot of them, played with one group of guys for quite a long period of time.
Yeah, my daughter curled
yeah.
here in St. Paul for a couple years, and then she gave it
Hang on,
up.
just right here.
And she, her main reason was that socially she didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it does definitely come down to the friends you have.
Maybe they were looking at their phones too much.
Well, it was Dave Wilson's kid throwing popcorn at her.
Well, that explains a lot.
That's not true. Just for the record.
Is Dave watching?
No, I have no idea. Of course not.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Mine's
even know
tight.
how to use a phone.
Well, this rock grabbed something
Tilker
early.
says 7 going
No.
on 16.
Move this here, and then roll over here.
Uh-oh.
My daughter's 11 going on 30.
Okay.
That
Need a
rock
big
grabbed
sweep here to
something
get it
real
over the
early.
hog line.
Yeah, no, just over the near hog line. That rock took a
Yeah, we
little
need
Yeah.
to
turn.
be 8 foot so we can
And
go under
I'd
there.
agree that was
Yeah.
a pick more than
Yeah, we
anything
need
I've
to be
heard
there,
from Rich
yep.
today.
So yeah, really another unfortunate break there for
Yeah,
Team
I think
Burr.
that's
Yeah.
close.
Just in general,
The way it
fortunate
goes
to
to
see
the
the
side,
amount of grabs and picks that are out there.
that
But
might be a little
at this point, when you're seeing a lot of that, it's really important
little
as
left.
the athletes out there that they increase their rotation a little bit on their stone. That's going to
are
decrease
still
the
at
chance
10
for
or
pick,
almost
and then
5.
obviously keeping your sweepers cleaning
And we
as
want
much as
T-line,
possible.
right?
Keep
Right.
the brooms down, throw to your
Just
sweepers,
above it.
and that combination should eliminate any picks. It's
Okay.
always when you throw it heavy and they have to go right off, and you got a little bit of soft handle, those are likely to happen.
So talk to the average curler that's probably watching this right now,
Little
Luke,
heavy.
a little
I
bit
gave her a
about
little bit.
rotation and
Right off
when you're
with the
playing
heavy.
on ice that has, 4 to
Get
5
coming
feet of
down.
curl and what you're looking for in rotation to make sure you're controlling your trajectory.
Just
So
T-line.
I think the
Make
best
sure
way to
it's
explain
T-though.
this is that when I was 12 years old,
Oh,
and I played in
grab
my
and go.
first
Yes.
Optimist U18 International
Grab
up
and
in,
go. Gotta
in
go.
the Toronto area. We played
I
at
don't
the
know,
Weston
man.
Country Club,
Is it
and
that
they had
rock
a
or
sign
is it
right
that
before you walk out onto the sheet that says,
I just
if
saying
you do
that.
not have 3 or more
either
rotations on
one.
your stone, you will miss your shot.
I think this
That's
is
what I'm
better.
And it was, they were not wrong. On swingy ice where it curls a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, so the more rotation you have,
gotta
the less
touch
the
it.
rock is going to curl. And then if you only have your normal kind of 1 to 2 rotations you might have on straighter ice, that's going to curl sometimes 8, 9, 10 feet on really swingy ice. And as you know, the houses are only 12
Mine's
feet
good.
wide. So if your rock's curling 10
Mine's
feet, you're
real
going to have a
good.
really tough time hitting the button.
Oh, take a look.
So in addition to that, obviously,
Yeah, it
like
looks
I
like you got
mentioned, when it
tons.
comes to picks, and rocks are more likely to pick if they have a softer
right,
handle.
you got a chance.
Right.
And then they're also
Gotta
more
get it
likely
back
to
out of the-
just
out of the 8
do
foot. Go.
erratic things and
Come on,
curl
come
more
on.
than you expect them to. So
Gotta go,
generally,
keep
the
going,
more
keep going,
rotation
keep
you
going,
have,
keep
Okay.
especially on swingy ice, is a
All right.
must, and then B, you're just going to have more control of your
So
shot.
now what?
So especially you'll see a lot of these
I don't want
elite
to go
teams.
partially under though
They
and
have
give them the well. Oh, then we'd have a
releases
2-foot
that
run,
really are
right?
very positive,
Just
that
feels
almost
like it's
pop
getting really soft
the stone a
in
little
that
bit,
center.
and you can see a good solid amount of rotation, usually even somewhere around 4
I could even
rotations
split those
on a
in
draw,
like
and
that.
then more on a takeout.
No.
Right.
And especially another aspect of
Yeah,
rotation
straight
is that when
drop,
you're
foot
throwing
around it, if you
peels,
split it, it's
the more
okay.
rotation you have, the more likely your shooter is to roll off. So
I know.
especially a lot of great
So
women's
same weight.
curlers are really good about utilizing the
That was what?
rotation on peels
05?
to help make
Okay.
their shooter
So I
roll
didn't
out
have it
farther
with
than it
that.
would have
Okay,
if you had
so
just thrown a
05 with
softer
an ad is pretty
handle
good,
at
I
it.
think.
And that's just based on weight. They like to put a little more rotation on that rock when they're throwing peels to make sure that it's going to get that rotation and that roll out.
Yep.
I think you can go.
So
I
if
think
you
can go.
if you were playing on straight ice or
Hanging out a
like
little.
league ice,
Gotta
it might
go,
not
though.
be as swingy.
Come on. Yep. Gotta
What
go.
is the down? Like
So-
if you have that same
Okay.
number of
Call it if you need to
rotations,
go.
does that cause it to run
Here it's going
straighter
now.
then?
Absolutely,
Okay, no.
and that's where actually you see a lot of these teams
That's
now
pretty
that
good
are
right there.
used to playing on
pretty good.
Grand Slam quality ice that curls minimum of 5
freeze
feet.
it.
If they go back to their home club and
And
it's
still
only
just
curling
blast,
2
but
or
then
3
maybe we
feet,
come down
a
to
lot of
last
times
one.
they can't make a shot. But the same, and that's why I think it's a really important part of this game now. I mean, obviously at the high level, the ice conditions are getting
Yeah,
more
but
and more
doesn't he just
consistent, but
drop?
there's still almost always going to be a time or
We
two
do that.
throughout your season
Yeah.
where you're playing in a big game where the ice
I mean,
isn't
if he happens to get back
what you
here.
want it to be. It's might be a little straighter than you'd hope, and it's really important to be able to have multiple releases in your toolkit and
Right.
be able to throw a softer handle for when you play on straighter ice.
Yeah, one year I practiced. I really wanted to get up to over 3 consistently because in St. Paul, typically in league, it's not 3 rotations.
it-
If you watch
yeah,
people,
right,
sometimes they'll
right.
get 2, whatever. and I tried to get over 3 consistently, had a great delivery to do that, and my skip was like, I can't call your game. It doesn't.
Right. Yeah, even when you make that roll.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's
you might as well
another
just draw
thing,
there.
especially when you get elite teams doing, is they try to match.
Right.
I mean, some teams do this more than others, but they kind of want each guy throwing a rock similar to each other, and they start with rotation, right? A lot of times you want all 4 players throwing similar rotation,
And
and
can
that's
be
going to make it a lot
difficult.
easier to call a game.
It can be difficult for recreational curlers, which is my point in asking that first question about rotation, about throwing
Yeah, but
the
if it
proper
happens just to
rotation
spin it
from
out a
your
little bit,
intern
then
to
we
your
got that
outturn
shot.
as well.
Yes, that's a big thing. Obviously, consistency is the key, right? And especially
No,
if
this
you want
rock,
your skip.
I mean, if
you
he
want
hits
to
it a
give
little
your skip
square, this rock
something
goes here.
predictable, and you want to be able to throw consistent enough
I mean,
rock
for-
to where they have
for
a
lock,
clue
yeah.
where to put the broom. And obviously, when you
that
have
might be-
more things going on, like differences in
may not
rotations
be
from
bad.
intern versus outturn, that can be a problem. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
at
as
least
long
we're
as
making
you
it get
have
to a
enough
tighter
rotation, or
And if
you
he
match
doesn't,
the rotation to the ice well enough to where it's not curling off the sheet or going super straight, I think it's most important to give your skip a consistent result.
Right.
Something that they can ice and then, more importantly, learn from in order to be able to make their shots.
Right.
Well, on the women's side here, we
I
have
don't know, maybe that hit isn't
Cora
bad, but I
Farrell's
gotta,
rink
if I
take
gotta make
complete
the roll,
control of this end.
Yeah.
With a nose hit would be just fine, or even if it rolls a bit
Actually,
under.
ideally, they roll out here. Any rock in play, especially a rock behind a T-liner in the guard zone, is going to help Team Ryhme. So they're going to want to make sure they're not leaving more
Then you
rocks
double
behind
make
the
the
T-line for him
'cause
to
then
use.
He draws, but if he doesn't make the draw,
And on the men's side,
something with it.
we have,
At least we
looks
got a
like Richie Rahonen's team sitting 3.
Yep.
Right.
Just putting the pressure on, right? It's what you do. You're
Right.
get into that defensive mode, but then you can put that pressure right on them by making those good hits and
Roll all the way over again.
keeping that front a little clear. You got a 2 or 3 point
Okay, so
lead
3.
later in the game.
So
This is exactly what you want to see out of your opponent, is them
Yeah.
hitting your stones.
Exactly. This is a pivotal call for Todd here. Obviously, until now, he's been playing this entire end as aggressively possible to steal. But now, since especially all 3 of those rocks
So
are above the
just trying to get
T-line
a
in
little
good
roll so
position,
they have-
he's
hopefully
realizing
they
there
have to
really
come
isn't
out.
a chance
Still
to be able
playing
to
the
steal. So he's now going to
Double,
bail out of
trying to
here.
get
He's
a
going to
little-
try and make this double and
Right,
roll, and then
playing
hopefully
three.
maybe they'll
Trying to get it to
leave
wiggle
something
over.
for him to come around, or they'll have an opportunity to make a good hit and roll or double, and maybe just hold Team Rune into 1.
Just than it has been all week. Like I'm
Here comes Todd's rock, a little bit outside,
Yeah.
trying to carve that back in. Obviously going to hit shot rock. Or not shot rock, but the
Make
top
contact,
rock.
the shot rock.
Yeah.
Move it over a little bit.
Left himself the opportunity for 1 here for sure, but he's in a
feel
little
like
bit of
that's
a
the
pickle.
call, right? Right here, because if he hit and rolls, that shit, I'll count it.
So, I mean, a big thing here for
Right here?
Richie is now, obviously, I mean, they'd love to get 3 points here, but like we said, the big thing is to score and not leave Todd any opportunity
Yeah, so we got to put this on the
steal
4-foot, edge of the
and-
4 then.
or at least, make Greg have to make a
'Cause he
good shot on
could-
his
he
last.
could hit it
So
just
right now,
off
kind of
nose
what
and
he's
roll
got
them
is
both a
obviously
little
the
bit.
shot that Todd just threw. He could
So,
potentially come around that.
I was thinking Todd had hammer here.
No. So that's why it's
Maybe.
it's definitely a very precarious situation for Todd.
Yeah, that's true.
And now obviously Richie their team as a whole
You're
renowned
probably
for
right, actually.
taking plenty of time to talk
It's
about
only to
their
get
shots.
2, but that's fine. We'll take 2.
Is taking their time on this one, but it is important here.
Yeah, we just can't jam it, but that's
So
fine.
now they're
That's-
thinking
I mean,
they're
that's
thinking
ace of the
about
rocks,
drawing
right?
to lay 3rd shot and maybe put
Third.
the pressure on to take 3, but now they're just gonna
Okay.
pick this rock through and
Roll out.
and then only have the opportunity to take 2. But like we said, kind of their end plan, if you will, going into this end was to just score.
Yeah.
So even taking 2, they're very happy doing that. But of course, this isn't a gimme of a shot. They do need to be careful about being tight, jamming on their own, and also if they're a little wide and they stick it on that other yellow in that back left corner, it would outcount their rock under that left corner guard as well and result in a force. So you need to be a little bit precise here.
Whoa. Whoa.
Can be close.
They're not touching
I'm
that
watching
one.
it. There's nothing I can do.
Nice
Don't
shot.
touch
Oh,
it,
and he's
and
going to make the
Alright.
double.
yeah, well,
That's going to work out just fine.
Like I mentioned, no, that was
Same
they were
free weight?
close to stuffing
Yeah,
that,
long ways to
which
roll, yeah.
is what they were one of the
Right.
things they couldn't afford
shot.
to do there. But good result. And
Yeah.
you know,
Do you feel like
Okay.
that was a shot that they had to make?
it's not a shot they had to make.
Long ways to go.
No,
Todd
I
Bird
mean,
said
it's-
earlier in the previous game, he said, yeah, this is just one of those shots that you have to make. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Aren't all of them?
well, it depends on what you have to make it for. Like to save your marriage, or to win $1 million, or what do you have to make it for?
Close.
I don't think you really have to make it for anything
Whoa.
in regards to the cash spiel when it comes to the big picture.
Hard.
Way to bring it back to reality.
Yeah, quite the answer there. It went deep.
Well, I'm a psychology major.
Like the
so-
out control.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a little more on the practical side as a civil engineering major myself. So,
What do you think?
We'd make a good combo, Luke.
well,
We could
for
talk
sure.
about our feelings and what's really important, but then engineering fascinates me, by the way. I have to say that. It's
Me too.
It's incredible that I look around, I understand my refrigeration process
That's control.
for my ice, and I look at it sometimes and I'm just blown away by who engineered this? Who figured out ammonia
go hard,
refrigeration and
Either we get our.
low pressure and high pressure and
Well, just done.
compressor
Yep.
system.
Yep,
It's just
yep.
Either we
it's
get our
amazing.
free or.
It's stuff. It's remarkable stuff, and obviously caught my eye,
Yep.
and just something. I'm hoping
Okay,
to
you're
be a
good.
part of something
You're
great like that someday
throw.
myself.
Well,
10,
good for you.
7, 5,
That's a
good throw.
great field to be in.
That's
Two
the
for
idea.
Rahonen.
And a big
Good
deuce
end, guys.
for Vernon here.
Yeah.
I
as
like
they,
how you threw that stuff.
they're in total
Yep.
control of this game now.
And Todd's heading to the other end here, down
Top 4.
Down 4. Yeah, down 4 with the hammer.
with the
so
hammer. Yeah.
I mean, ideally here they get 3, and then they can steal 1 and 8 and steal 1 and an extra.
Yeah.
That's kind of their path of least resistance here to the victory. But obviously the percentages are quite tilted in favor of Vernon at this
Yeah.
point.
He did have his opportunity for 3 in the third. Todd did.
Yep.
Kind of missed his last, but
Yep, that's one of those
And that
shots
point's
that's
looming
one you have
big,
to
right?
make,
Yeah.
and one that it'll be looming in his mind a little bit right now.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
always it's one you'd of course love to have back.
right.
So can I ask you guys a kind of an engineering physics sort of question to see if a psychology major or a
Civil.
civil
really good.
engineer
Always
can answer
calling.
it?
Sure.
So this was when I took physical chemistry. It was took a lot of chemistry in my life. So you have a room, and this is
14.5 should be
like
really
you
good.
have a room and you have a refrigerator inside the room,
Okay.
and the door
Good
is
throw.
open. Does the
Attaboy.
temperature in the room go up or go down?
What door is open? The refrigerator door? Or
Yeah, the refrigerator door's open.
Is it heated?
Is the room?
Yeah. And how fast are you talking about the room temperature changing?
Okay, there's no. I didn't have an opportunity to ask those kind of questions. This was just a test. But just assume that there's no added heat or added air conditioning, and there's no airflow. There's no doors or windows.
Well, if the refrigerator is not plugged in, it definitely isn't going to change the temperature.
The refrigerator is
much.
plugged in.
Good one, Luke.
Well, you didn't
You're
say that
thinking
before,
like a
so I
psychologist
think.
So, all right, ask one more time.
Here, Tom.
So imagine a room that has no heat or air conditioning, no windows or doors, just an electrical port and a refrigerator. You have a refrigerator that's plugged in and the door is open. Does the room get warmer or cooler?
Top 4.
I would. You want me to answer first?
Sure.
I would say this is a setup,
Yep. There's no question that this is
but
definitely a trick question.
I would say a small space of that room
Past it
for
probably,
a
yep.
very brief moment would
We're
get
not
cooler.
past it. We're not past it, Colin. Maybe we were.
All right,
maybe
Luke?
we were.
Well,
Yep.
I feel like it is a closed system,
Roll it,
as
roll
they
it,
say
roll
in physics. So I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about refrigeration. that's more up in your guys' alley, but I would feel like it wouldn't change. Like the net temperature would stay the same.
That is the correct answer, because a refrigerator takes the heat from inside the refrigerator and translates it out. Now, that does produce work, which might produce a little heat, so it might warm the room up a little bit.
From the backside.
Yeah.
From the, I understand what you're saying, from the compressor side of things.
All right, so we have
Line's real good.
handshakes at the women.
Yep.
So Cora Farrell
we're cutting
wins,
here.
her
No
rank
finish.
wins.
Congratulations, Cora and team.
$2,100.
Yep.
And Kim Ryhme squad wins $1,250.
High fives all around for the
Yep.
ladies. Kate
Like
and
this?
Cora and the rest of the
I don't
crew.
think we want a guard.
Last year's junior champions. Am I right about that?
Yep, for the most part.
That same team or
Slightly different.
slightly different?
Slightly different.
Good for them.
No.
Congratulations, gals.
Obviously a big step in their season. They are preparing to represent the U.S. in the Junior B Championships to
Line's
qualify for
good.
the World Junior Championships.
Line's
That's
really
going to
good.
be in Finland in December.
Right here.
So they're the team selected for that. So they're preparing this entire season for that event.
14-8. It should be.
I had a friend who curled in the Junior Bs.
It's good.
Carl Ball.
I like
Carl
that. Good
Ball.
shot. That's good.
We couldn't get, we just
Really good
couldn't go
spot.
a whole broadcast without bringing up Carl Ball, could we? A round of applause downstairs you can hear for the ladies as they enter the club room here at the St. Paul Curling Club at the 2019
What do you think?
Let's Cure Lupus.
Lupus. Cash Spiel.
Yes, thanks to Regan Burr very much for her efforts to keep this moving
Civil.
forward, and she does a fantastic job. Well done,
Line's good.
young lady.
What? Oh. I you said bored. Yeah.
That's
Line's
very
real
nice
good.
of you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Regan. Anything else you'd like to tell
Yeah,
everybody?
You can finish it. Gotta finish. I think you're okay, Tom. You're good. Yep, get 8 foot. Great.
All right. No pressure. No, I will say I had a lot of fun curling in the Lupus Spiel out in Seattle. I think everybody did, and I would certainly love to come back to another one.
I know. I'm just looking. I think
keep
we
you
might
posted.
be one.
Well, you know, I usually curl in that one.
So
They haven't asked me to be a celebrity skip, so
Neil,
I
this-
usually have to
this
pay my way
tight
in.
Middle one. Can
I
you
wonder
see
why.
how much you got of it?
They, Hey, by the way,
Okay.
where is your advertisement,
just wanna
Christopher,
throw 7
on
and a
the
half.
wall for Terrapin Curling?
See the cash spiel on the side there from 2017? That's the last time.
I don't see that.
Yeah, they asked me about it, and I decided, didn't have the funds to handle
Right.
that.
Okay.
Greg.
All right. Well, it's been a very successful spiel,
Got it.
all the same. You can see the team Rahonen ripping
shot.
corner guards out, just trying to make sure they don't give up more
Like
than
a
one.
tapping that?
Now there
Here?
actually is some decent
thought for sure
opportunity
we
for
were taking
Team Burr here to generate some offense.
Yeah, coming around the
'cause
top
there's
one.
obviously they had before that shot, obviously 2 corner guards, now just 1. They got one buried behind it, and all 3 of those red rocks in the center are usable.
Well, I was
They
thinking
have the
around,
one
but I'm
behind
okay
the
with
tee
this
line
one
here.
too.
They're talking
Either
about
one.
tapping that other one in the 4 foot behind, and then they can come around that one that's top 8, top 12.
I think the one on the 4 foot.
So you're going to start
Yep.
to see play
that?
transition to the center here momentarily as Todd's going to do everything he can
Yep.
to utilize those 3 stones.
Give it a little tap to the back, right? Just get it behind
Yep.
the tee line is all you need to do.
And create a pocket,
Yeah.
as we like to call, and then ideally, they're just getting this one behind there, and then he'll have an opportunity to either weld one in there later, or maybe an attempt by
Where are ya?
Richie to remove this stone and jam back there.
Line's real good.
It's a big shot here. If they
Close,
can make
yep.
a couple in a row here, they're in
Yep.
good shape to generate 3 points.
Yep. Hard. Still got it. Hard.
I have to go downstairs. I'm going
Hard.
to see if I can borrow some money
Just
from
do it. Just do it, guys. Freeze is okay.
Cora.
Okay.
Okay.
Not bad.
We're
That's a
looking
nice
for the
shot.
top, but the tap back, but still the freeze is a good shot.
Or not? Probably not. Probably just here.
So there's still, Todd still needs to. There's a little bit of work left to be done in the center there. So Richie's
So,
just
like,
going to let him
me
take
see
care of
what I
that,
can see.
and he's going to just remove the stone that you know he can remove easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Keep
like
damage
roll?
limited.
Yep.
Or I don't know,
Good call here by Rich.
Okay,
Don't worry
let's play
about that
board.
one.
because
It's
I don't
that
think we want to
Hunter
roll
just
all
threw.
the way in there. Because then I think it gives them another one to freeze onto.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't necessarily want to stick the stone, but at the same time, you can't see a whole lot of it, so you do need to throw less weight to remove it. So it's kind of, these are all obviously difficult shots to remove the stone and roll
you
your
think we should
shooter
just
out
throw
with
it
the softer
harder?
weight.
Like normal and
So yeah, I can
roll
hear,
into that
Richie
pocket?
for that
Yeah.
reason is thinking
Right.
about bringing a weight up
roll
here.
through.
I mean, obviously, if you can see any of it at all, you could just throw peel. And try to-
Right.
I
Right.
got just
Try
And
to
his
play the
back
pick style
half, not
shot.
quite.
But
His red
yeah.
rock that's in the back four there is
Yep.
not doing him any
No,
good.
it's
so
hurting him for sure,
Yeah.
actually. So,
So-
actually removing that rock would be
I
great.
think I like
Right.
normal.
I kind of like a little bit
I don't think we want to stay in there.
more weight here, and
Yep.
A little bit more.
even if his rock finishes on the right side of that center line, over there is going to be better
Yep.
in the long
Yep.
run than finishing on this
Whoa,
side,
whoa.
the left side.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Gets by the guard.
nice
makes
shot here.
contact.
Run it over there. That's a nice shot. He's sitting
Well,
right
the one
above
thing
the
I
button.
will say is that it did
actually
kind of
really good,
create a pocket.
Yeah.
So where as
Right.
of now that one stone on Todd's cannot be removed. However, it is third shot.
Plus the
So
you
like I
could
said,
blast it.
Todd's gonna have to do some work here
Yeah.
in order to get in a position where that can become shot stone. Now we're gonna have a little bit of a team conference here.
I mean,
What's
yep, I don't mind that. Yeah,
See.
yeah, especially if you move this to
If he
here.
does-
So yep,
sit-
I kind of like Andrew's idea here to actually to
that-
kind of play the tap on the intern side. And
get
then
something set up on the other
Yep,
side
exactly.
of the sheet, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, we don't
I
have
think
to move.
that's
I mean,
a
if we
good
just move
idea.
this a little bit.
Sometimes you can set that end up and let the other guys think about it a little too much and make a
Yeah,
shot
it's
for
better
you.
if you move
Exactly. Well,
this
that's
stone
kind
to
of the idea here. When you're
Right,
working
yeah,
with
you just
the opposing team stone in the center of the sheet, trying to tap 'em back with the hammer, kind of down in the game, is you're kind of trying to put it in a spot to where
Yeah.
they might kill some of their stones, try and remove them, and then you can go back
Yeah,
to using
that's
your
what
corner
if we just
cards.
freeze it?
But it does seem that the general consensus is they're leaning towards this intern freeze.
Right.
And then they'd like you mentioned they'd have a shot on both sides of the sheet,
Well,
and it's impossible to take
But
both
yeah,
of them
even
away.
there, like he's, yeah, he's
Other than
into
except
the
the one
crotch.
thing it would
Just
leave is
the-
it would leave just that short nose run back. If he's a little bit high on that, then both yellows
Right.
would go in that case.
Yeah, we're gonna need a
That'd be
little
fun
break
to
here.
see.
So
Little tap.
I
I
mean,
like the tap.
you know,
Yeah.
depending on who
Depending
you're
on
rooting
who
for,
you're-
I guess. And I'm not rooting for
What's
either
that? Well,
team,
I'm
but
thinking like
for
probably
it's
those of
fun
us
to watch
rooting
those
for
good
good
shots.
shots,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's what we want to see.
Right.
You might notice
So-
on Burr's jerseys they have, or coats, they have terrapin curling on them. Like there in the
Oh.
front.
Oh,
See it stomping
I do
Tom
see
coming
that.
down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah. But that was from a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Emergency funding when they got to go to the Olympic trials.
Emergency funding.
Okay, so I think the final call is just this small tap on this intern here.
Yep, early. Yep.
Oh,
It's a little tight.
Todd calling hard early to
Hard.
push the line wide.
Does seem like he's got
Andrew
plenty of
saying
weight.
it's really
though.
got to go.
Gotta
That's
go.
really warping in there.
Oh yeah. Here
Keep it
comes.
going. Yep.
Still going to
Yep.
keep going and see if maybe they can roll under their corner guard, but I
Whoa,
doubt
whoa,
it's
whoa,
quite
whoa,
enough
whoa,
weight to
whoa,
do
whoa, whoa.
that. That's close.
Okay.
Well, the
Okay.
good news
Oh, there
is
might
they
be
have
a
no rock,
double.
but yeah, I'm quite.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
there's
Third and
definitely
make
a
it
double.
Easy, right?
And what's Richie's
Yeah, I
nickname?
just think you were quite out there, eh?
No?
Do you know Richie's
No,
nickname?
I didn't think so.
Dr. Strangelove?
That's probably okay. So, third.
No, it's
I
Dr.
think
Double.
I'll play the out
It
just
is
'cause-
Dr.
No.
Double.
Yeah, I
Self-
think he gave himself that name.
Yeah, it sounds like
Self-appointed name.
Self-appointed.
Yeah. When I play him in league, a lot of times
Third of a rock, quarter of a rock will make it.
when I
Third.
play him in league, oftentimes I just try to set up doubles to see if he'll take them. Because I'm going to get waxed, I know.
There's a bit of a killer shot here, though, for Richie. If he can make this, it kind of stunts any opportunity Todd Burr had at a big end here. In fact, it's going to leave a lot of rocks for him to move to try and score.
Whoa, whoa,
Right.
whoa,
Well,
Whoa!
Waiting
Whoa!
on it.
Needs the
They're waiting
curl,
on
it sounds like. Oh, and
Oh.
piers it.
Dr. Double
Yep,
comes through once
pretty
again.
good.
Dude, got it kind of a
They are sitting 5 in the house, staggered.
kind of went
He
high.
can
That was
still
it.
tap that center one
Wait.
back, right?
Yep,
He
exactly.
Just
I think
freeze it
just-
manufacture
Yep.
two here.
Yeah, he's thinking just freeze now,
Yeah.
because then I think he might, if he freezes slightly on the right-hand side, so of that, it's going to be difficult to remove with that other stone there that Richie just threw.
Right there, it kind of spun up, which gave
All the same, nice shot by Rich. No pick on that one.
Yep.
Weight's pretty.
I don't know.
line's
I think
pretty
he was
good.
hanging kind of wide and picked in for the make. So.
Yep. 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 Gotta go line.
Oh, gotta go line. Gotta get by that top
Gotta go.
one here.
Gotta go.
Like a little click over.
Really
with
gotta
it.
go.
Hard. Okay.
Click
okay.
it
Whoa,
over.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Click, click.
Okay.
There it is.
That-
That's
Yeah,
just
unfortunately exposes that right side. So yeah, as
I think we
Richie
just
says, it
nose
won't be
it.
a problem to
Nose
blast.
is good, right?
Kind of thinking about where he leaves his shooter
Yeah.
here, because he doesn't.
I'm
While he
just
does have a
even if
big
you-
lead and a
even
lot of
if you
rocks in
do
the house,
this,
you do need to be
sit here,
precise
that's
and not
pretty
leave
good,
an
right?
opportunity for a skip
So
deuce.
let's just, yeah, make sure we get this side. Throw
Right.
hard. You like
Yeah.
just 7.5 or you want peel? Doesn't matter. It's flying out. Whatever
you
you
can
feel like you're
almost play
throwing
off
better.
his. Oh well,
'Kay.
from here, from above, it looks.
So it sounds like their idea here is they want to just nose this rock.
Nose is good, guys,
right?
but this
Because
isn't
it's
that bad. Just to
doesn't
bump
Look
it
at
really-
the
sit there.
jumbotron over above my
That's
head.
actually probably better.
No, that's right. We can always do that too.
So we hit half. It's
You can
good.
almost play it off his own red.
You want to make
Crotch it,
sure you
but-
kill the yellow.
Yeah.
Right. So always want to make sure you kill the yellow. I think there is a slight maybe chance for a field goal there. Probably not, but don't want to find out.
He's gonna throw this with plenty of weight.
Yep.
Oh,
Spiel on the nose here.
yep. Whoa.
Like they said, a little high side's
Whoa.
acceptableness here.
Yep.
Now it looks like what's
Good
going to be
shot.
the result.
Perfect. I like it.
That's good.
Very nice.
I like that.
So yep, just kind of
Not sure how I get there.
Any good-
lonely, yeah, like lonely rock in the back four for Todd to freeze on. But like you said, he's not sure how he can get
Right.
there because that corner guard,
Yeah, I think
as
we
high
almost
as it
gotta
is
decide. Other than
preventing him from
maybe
throwing
just
the
to try to
in-turn,
tap
and
this
then that rock he just tapped, its top 4 foot's making the out-turn difficult.
Right.
No.
But the second option he had there, what you just pointed at, was
Yep.
tapping that top 4 red rock back,
Not bad.
and
just 'cause
staying
I'm
up
not
there.
Sure I can get the freeze.
make a play
Yeah.
on it and see if it doesn't.
Yeah, and then the
See
third
if it
option that
doesn't
Andrew's
jam.
motioning for
Yeah.
right now is this hit and roll frozen on that back one. It would be third shot, but
Still,
there
we
is a
almost
double
have
on
to go
those
through
two.
that rock to make this anyway.
Especially if he could find a way to stick in the 4 foot and keep
No,
it
I mean.
second shot.
Oh, right. Sure. I'm sorry.
I think
Yeah,
that'd
for
be
just
pretty
hitting this one.
important.
Yeah, I was thinking.
He'd run that center.
Yeah, but if he can roll just far enough, it
Okay.
should jam on
Yep,
the
I
back
think
one.
that's-
I think there's a spot right
Oh,
there where
right,
Andrew's
right.
broom is, where he's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
both those. Certainly the one in the top 4 foot running it back will jam. I think they will have that
I think
one
it's like halfway here.
in the top 8 foot to run back and be able to make it without jamming, but it's dicey because if they're a little bit wide, then they just double their own out.
Well, you're right. That's the
Just
shot
half.
he's going
Try to get a little flat
make.
back there. Hope we can get a jam somewhere.
Yeah. Try to get a jam
Yep,
somewhere.
exactly.
You can hear
I
Todd
think
saying.
no matter what, Richie will have a shot to remove it and score multiple points. But it's just trying to, well, put the pressure on Todd. I could throw against multiple points, I should say.
Mr.
But,
Burr wastes no time in the hack. I love that about his game.
Yep. It's one thing our very knowledgeable coach, Tyler George, is emphasizing a lot for us, is just the importance of maintaining pace. Now this is the third, fourth rock in a row on this spot to just take off.
Still going hard on that.
And it is. And then,
Yeah.
Todd making a little comment there at the end.
What do
He
you
kind
like?
of
Right there? Right here,
would
right?
have preferred to go off and maybe see if they could roll under their corner guard there.
Out turn?
But no matter what, I think Richie's
Is
team
long
would have
enough to play
been
'em back?
sitting at least 3.
Guys, right here is really good. Just
So
on this
now
side
they're
of the
just
line.
going to
every
try
time.
and put this stone in the spot
Yeah.
that makes it as difficult
Not
as
scored,
possible
just
for
like
Todd to
there.
score. And I like that spot right there.
Even there.
Yep.
If you put it, there's not really going to be a hole to draw through. They might be able to like squeak through the hole that's created between that stone and the one that's top 8 foot there. But like I said, there's still that corner guard that's preventing any in-turn draws. So the easiest shot for Todd after this might end up being a triple
Long enough
takeout
to
for
play
1.
'em back.
You know what I do in league if I ever see this, if I was Todd Burr?
Shake.
No, I would be counting rocks to see, do they have any through?
Making sure you don't give up the 8.
Yeah.
Hey, Christopher,
Well-
in the tradition of ending the spiel in our stream,
Yeah, you want
should
it
we
right
ask
here.
Luke
Yes.
the question about how many rocks can fit completely inside the 4-foot?
It's gonna be calling when you go. If you need to.
I've heard this not once.
Touch
I feel
4
like
is
it's
okay. Touch
13
4 is okay. Yep.
for some
Yep.
reason.
Yep.
It's 14, isn't it?
It's 14.
14. And it was
Yes,
13
really
or
good, Greg.
14.
I don't believe you can fit 14 in the 4-foot.
I think you could
The
fit
nose
14 rocks completely
Yeah.
inside the 4-foot.
Yep.
I saw
Yeah, I think so.
Mike Farrrell do it once.
So,
Yep.
looking on the,
Yeah.
To hark
Maybe a
back
hair
to
more.
our
looking on the,
first or second.
More, maybe.
Yeah, I like how you
Yeah.
brought it back, you know.
Yeah.
Good literature.
I'm good that way, yeah.
so very difficult shot coming here for Todd to score. It looks
He wants
like
to score his point.
Oh yeah.
he's trying to make
Yeah.
a double and then maybe have his shooter kind of catch on that rock that's
Right.
in the
Yeah,
top 8
3
foot there and
2 or
then
3 inches.
stick around.
I
Just
didn't
gotta
realize
bite the
that you
floor.
go off the
Yep.
outside of that
So
one.
3 weight.
And those 2 rocks are tight together, so a lot of weight doesn't really need to be thrown here.
Nope, it's all about keeping a shooter around in the 4 foot.
Right.
But he does need to remove 2 stones to do so. This one's hanging on. I'm wondering if the sheet's a little slanted here because all those other ones were curling.
Yeah, everybody's off the ice.
It's thin, it's going to squeak through, and that's going to be a big
See handshakes here.
steal
All right.
of 5.
Good game, guys.
So that's the end
that
of
will
the.
be the championship.
Yeah.
Great.
Congratulations to Richie and team on winning the Let's Clear
sorry
Lupus
you're
St.
giving us
Paul
2.
Cash Spiel.
Yeah, Roonan will walk home with a $3,100 check, which he probably needs to cover gambling debts.
Just from the weekend.
Yep. Todd Burr.
I heard he was winning on a few spreads, so I don't know. Maybe he's just raking it in this weekend. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Luke, pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you, viewers, everybody
Thanks.
watching.
Well done. Thank you for the finer points. And Chris and you
pleasure.
guys, thank you very much as always.
You're welcome, Scott.